Convene, and we are starting with our presentation, right? Or are we doing
Taking positive steps
Okay.
for service award.
Taking positive steps.
So I'm going to turn this over to Board Member Rotzel and let him go.
Meet you halfway.
There you go. You can hand it up.
Okay, Kevin Culkin, please come up. Kevin, Judge Kev, and Kev are just a few names we have for Kevin Culkins in the courtroom. For those of you that may not know, Kevin Culkins is the attorney coach for our mock trial team in town. And I asked everyone on the varsity team to describe him in just one or two words. Words that came back include sassy, chatty, smart, brilliant, encouraging, inspiring, motivating, passionate, and patient. Kevin is the mastermind behind our success and our biggest champion. He inspires us with the truthful stories and advice you would expect from someone with as much experience as he has had in the courtroom. And for your dedication and service to the mock trial program, it is my honor to present you with the Taking Positive Steps of Service Award. And since you do this pro bono, there's your pay raise.
Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Yeah, I got that call from Renee, what was it, 5-6 years ago now? Probably a little longer. Time just, I've been in the program for 38 years. I started with Baraboo High School. I live in Baraboo, was the district attorney in Sauk County for years, assistant district attorney. One of my students is your current teacher coach. And after Baraboo High School, for reasons unknown, canceled the program there. I kind of started to get away from it. And all of a sudden I get this phone call from some Lodi teacher saying, "I'll bet you missed this." And she was so right. I tried to do as much as I could, but while working, didn't really get a chance to come over as often as I'd like. It's a little bit of a haul from Baraboo to Lodi. Retired 2 years ago, and I think I've barely missed a couple of practices and trials, mock trials and scrimmages and that since then. It's just such a great program, and it teaches the kids critical thinking, how to think on their feet. And for me, it's always been kind of a mental health thing because, especially in the DA's office, I would see kind of one class of kids, and now I get to see the best and brightest, and I need that, so that I know that the future's in good hands. So I do appreciate this, and I'm going to keep doing this until I can't anymore. So thank you very much.
And while they're taking a picture, we have a few more Taking Positive Steps for Service awards. These people don't know they're getting them. So Renee Potter was nominated for a Taking Positive Steps for Service award. Potter was nominated for her work in the classroom, work with the yearbook, advocate broadcast, and work with the mock trial team. Renee is someone who can count on to build strong relationships with students while holding them to high academic standards. She understands the importance of pushing students to achieve their potential in a way in which they feel supported. She's taken the yearbook and advocate broadcast to new levels the past few years. Renee is also a very successful mock trial coach, as we've heard, and we'll hear about more in a few more minutes. So we thought it'd be a great time to give Renee this award. We are so grateful that she's a part of our Lodi School District family, and obviously we don't pay her enough for all those things, so it's almost like pro bono work, but here's a pay raise as well. So, before you take a picture, I would say the mock trial team should be up here with us.
That's fine.
Real crowded on one side of her? Okay. Start people in the front, all right.
I'm behind. Just look happy today.
Anything you would like to say, Ms. Potter?
No, I think we will hear from the kids in a minute, and
Yes.
that's what makes me happiest, is to hear from them.
The other person who was nominated was Kate McCrae. Kate. As you will hear shortly from one of our 3 a cappella groups that Kate runs in this district, the groups meet at 7 a.m. in the morning, and they love getting up that early to do school. I see them sprinting in the morning, well, maybe not sprinting, but coming in the morning early. In addition, Kate gives up many nights and weekends for our music students. Some of those are expected events, like solo ensemble weekends, state festival, concerts, but she also provides extra opportunities, like performing just a couple weeks ago at the Mad City a cappella event on a Friday night in Oregon, loading kids in a bus after school, and the event got over about 9:30 at night. Nothing that's in her contract or required for her to do. She just did it because it's great for our kids. She's also here on weekends helping with musical auditions, and will be here throughout the summer helping our students get ready for next fall's musical. There's really not enough time to share all the different activities that she's been involved in. Just to suffice it to say, our students in the district are lucky to have someone like Kate in our vocal music department. So. Right there in the middle.
Can't even tell who she is from your kid. She looks like one of the kids.
Are we good?
And the
Is there
concert.
anything you'd like to say? Anything you'd like to say?
No, I just do it for them.
The concert was
Okay,
incredible.
I'm gonna turn it over to you then. Hey, Rob.
You know what to do, Grandpa.
Hello, we are the Lodi Breakfast Club. We are named that because 2 times a week we get up at, well, before 7 a.m. and then we come into school at 7 a.m. and sing. And we sing several songs, but the one we will sing today is Levitating by Dua Lipa.
You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we running it, yeah, 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 yeah. If you wanna run with me, you know a galaxy, and I can take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into weather we said don't stop for life. Glitter in the sky, glitter in your eyes, shine just where you like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading, yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating too. Moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating, 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 levitating. Oh, baby, just for me, I feel it in the energy. It stays written in the stars. We can go ever so soon now, baby, baby. Nothing's ever too far. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just where we are. I feel like forever every time we get together. Whatever that's not so good. Coming up, you want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're gonna get it, yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight, moonlight, starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating you. Moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating you. Fly with me tonight. I'm levitating you. Fly with me tonight. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly with me tonight. You can fly with me tonight. Baby, let me take you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating you.
every board meeting?
Yeah.
So you guys, I'm assuming, went to solo ensemble. And how'd you guys do?
We did great. We did great. It's been posted on the Facebook. Yeah, so we were nominated and we actually received the award for the exemplary performance, which means the judges were completely wowed by our performances and decided to give us that extra little boost of congratulations.
Does not surprise me. Great job. You make us proud. Good job, guys. Thank you for getting up early to do this.
And you all have names, can you just say your name and your grade? Just start over here.
Yeah, my name is Ella Moran and I'm a senior. My name is Emily Temborge and I am a freshman.
I'm Simon Ricks and I'm a sophomore.
My name is Miranda Risher and I'm a senior.
I'm Grant Byer, I'm a junior.
I'm Sasha Nitsky and I'm a junior. I'm Tessa Birdsborn and I'm a junior. I'm Katie Schilling and I'm a junior.
Bentley Smith, I'm a junior.
I'm Chase Moss, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Kyle Hoffman and I'm a junior.
Caleb Russell, junior.
I'm Jaden Hellenbrand, I am a junior.
I'm Andy Lemke, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Jennifer Schmidt and I'm a sophomore.
Close. I'm Blake Simpson, I'm a junior.
So Kate took 3 groups to the Mad City Acapella, and I would say, obviously I'm biased when I'm sitting there. I would say they had 3 out of the best 4 performances, right? There was one performance, right? From McFarland that was because of that individual who was unbelievable, but I thought our groups sounded best, and they just were awesome. So they did a great job all the way around. They're just fun to watch.
Yes.
You get spoiled to get to watch them. So thank you so
Sounds
much
like
for
a
being
lot of
here.
you are underclassmen. Is this something that you'll do next year and continue to do?
Alright. Awesome.
Keep it up.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. And I just want to say to our award recipients, thank you guys so much for your time and giving these kids all these opportunities. I really appreciate it.
So now we're going to have our mock trial come up, and our mock trial team qualified for state again this year. They went 2-2 at state with close performances against some of the top teams in state. They had some perfect scores that were awarded, and I'm sure they're going to talk about that. So I will turn it over to our mock trial team. Do whatever you need to do, rearrange.
I'm going to set up the courtroom here.
Yeah, absolutely.
A moment, because we are, the students are going to create, what's that? You want help? No. Okay, I think that's enough. So this will be our witness stand. We will forego having a judge tonight, and they are going to present a mock trial. Because Mr. Breinig wanted us to introduce to all of you what mock trial is. And so they have kind of dressed a little spiffy like they might for a competition, and they will run through and just tell you about it, and in doing so, show you some of the procedures and the question techniques that they use during a competition. Right, so.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. And we have members of both our JV and our varsity represented tonight. And we'll start with our opening statements. Okay.
A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man without trials. Good evening, members of the board. I stand before you today with my co-counsel, Chase Moss, Natalie Dieter, and Mac Chambers to demonstrate what a mock trial looks like. In order to aid us in our case, we will call two witnesses to support our claims. Firstly, Keely Bannock will be called to the stand, where she will inform you of the bare bones of every mock trial. You will hear from her testimony today what attorneys and witnesses do and how they do it. Next, Catherine Hall will testify directly to you on this year's teams. She will tell you exactly how many students make up this program and how they performed. Finally, you will hear from Counsel Dieter, who will lay the final stones in this case and place an end cap on her presentation by detailing our goals and how mock trial benefits us, the students. I'll remind you of my opening quote. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man without trials. Thank you.
We'll call Catherine Hall to stand. will you please introduce yourself to the court?
I am Catherine Hall.
And would you recognize a photo of the full team if I were to show it to you?
Yes, I would.
This has been marked as Exhibit D. Will you please identify this for us?
This is a photo of the entire mock trial team.
And how many make up the program?
There are 26 different students that made up our program this year across all 4 grades.
How many competitions are there in a season?
We participated in 9 different competitions, including regionals and varsity's participation at state.
How did the team perform at regionals?
Our varsity team got first, and our 2 JV teams placed 3rd and 5th.
And would you recognize a photo of the varsity team?
Yes, I would.
This has been marked as Exhibit E. Will you please identify this document for us?
This is a photo of our mock trial varsity team.
And what happens after winning regionals?
The top 2 teams at regionals move on to the state tournament.
And how did varsity do at state this year?
We got 13th out of 20 at our state tournament.
Okay, thank you. That'll be all.
We would like to call Miss Keely Bannock to the stand. Good evening, Miss Bannock. Please state your name, spelling your last for the court.
My name is Keely Bannock, B-A-N-N-A-C-H.
How does the mock trial season start?
It starts with reading the case materials that Wisconsin Mock Trial provides us.
Would you recognize these materials if we showed you?
Yes.
Could you please identify these materials for the lovely board here?
These are the case materials, which include the affidavits of witnesses and stuff for attorneys, such as verdict forms and rules.
How do we use materials?
We go through and we read all the affidavits of the witness to determine their character and how the timeline plays out.
What does an attorney do?
The attorney takes on a role of a lawyer to defend their side of the case, either prosecution or defense.
Would you recognize this rule sheet if I showed it to you?
Yes.
Could you please identify the rule sheet for us?
Yeah, this is, it's a packet of all the rules plus the timekeeping sheet.
What is a direct examination?
It's where the attorney will lead their own witness. For example, plaintiff attorney will lead a plaintiff witness in a direct examination to determine their character and how they play into the case.
What is a cross-examination?
It's where a plaintiff witness, for example, will cross a defense. A plaintiff attorney will cross a defense witness to diminish their credibility as a character in the case.
And what does a witness do?
They play a role as a character in the case materials.
What is needed to succeed?
You need to be determined, hardworking, and have independence to succeed.
How are we scored?
We are scored on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst you do, 10 being the best.
That'll be all.
Thank you for your time and attention today, ladies and gentlemen of the school board. My name is Natalie Dieter, and I, along with my co-counsel, Caleb Rosel, Chase Moss, and Mac Chambers, have demonstrated for you today how a mock trial works. Mock trial promotes strength in students by building confidence and public speaking skills. The mental sport is a huge part of the lives of every single member of the Lodi team. We are determined. We are hardworking, but not only that, our team is successful. Today, we have told you about our young and incredibly successful team. Considering that we lost 8 seniors from varsity last year, we still did well at the state tournament, 13th out of 20. In the future, we hope to continue to place well at both regionals and state. Thank you again for listening today, and we look forward to your continuous support in the coming years.
Thank you.
You guys, that was awesome. I loved how you did that.
Yes, that was perfect.
I was like, at first I didn't even know what you were gonna do. I've been so curious about mock trial and I've wanted to go for so long, and I'm gonna go next year because I don't care what's on my calendar, I need to go. Because I've been so curious about it, and I just think you guys do awesome, and that was so entertaining, I loved it.
That was great.
State mock trial is awesome. It is one of the most impressive events to watch. All teams are just phenomenal, and again, being biased, our teams always do a great job. If you do go to state, you cannot wear Lodi gear.
I know,
right?
Derek already told me that, and I think he knows because I try to wear Lodi gear at all times, so he probably
So
knew.
you have to, they can't know who you're, because they can't know who the teams, that
Right.
judges can't know who the teams are.
Okay.
Right, so, and so we really appreciate, not only the hard work of our students, but of our coach and then our attorney, helping out, so it's a great opportunity. for
So
our
is
kids.
it the same trial like all year when you go, okay, so it's just, but then you just don't know how the other team is going to.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, oh my God, that's so cool.
So there were 20 teams that were at state. How many tried out to get there in the first place?
Over 100.
Over 100, I figured. Yeah. So 13th is really good.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
So do you have to want to study law to be a part of the mock trial team, or?
Very, very few kids go on into law.
Just gotta like to argue.
But the skills that they learn transfer to anything else in life. The critical thinking, the public speaking, believing in yourself, teamwork. It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
And dressing, you all look so
Yes. No, that was awesome, thank you guys.
Thank you guys for
I will be
coming.
there next
Thank
year, I'm coming.
I'm okay.
You guys can set up. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna, yeah. We wanna take a few minutes, they're gonna set up for the gallery walk.
Okay, all right,
We adjusted our agenda, so.
so, yeah. Oh, we can do our little things.
It's team building.
Yeah, so,
No.
Amy, you wanna come explain to them what they're supposed to do for their quizzes?
And they can do that, yes. So
While they're waiting?
So for our presentation, you just have a quiz, and what you're doing is you're going to match the individual with the fun fact that you have.
So we write our name on here though?
Yep, you write your name on here, yep, and then you have to figure out which one matches to the parents and put a one next to those answers, yep.
Before we go to the gallery
Yeah,
walk.
if you don't mind,
Yeah,
yeah.
so in the next couple minutes.
Yep.
Okay, I gave it my best guess.
Perfect, thank you.
No cheating either.
Nice job, Caleb.
Thank you.
She'll tell you when you get to her station.
I see, okay.
Thank you.
I had to do the same thing. I was doing the same thing.
I started thinking really hard and then I was like,
What is about these
I'm
last
just gonna write, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. See how I did. I hope I know everybody.
Oh, gosh, I can see how this could be.
I got my own right. For sure.
One of them.
Oh, she did put you on there. Where's your thing? You didn't fill one out?
I didn't get one, so.
So we have time to run to the.
We know who's
Yeah,
doing
if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Terry.
He's collecting all the.
Straight facts.
Adam.
What you wanna do is go into Amy's, mission that she had and look at her videos and watch video 1, 2, 3, 4 and grow. It's so humorous because she treats the teachers like they're kids. Crack it up, they're like, oh, I forgot their name.
Thank you.
Oopsies. And so you get a poster? You want one? Anybody else want a picture of the golf team? I don't wanna force them on people. They're awesome.
I don't bowl.
I can put this anywhere I want.
Anybody else? I don't wanna force them. I made them take them, they were not in school, so I like to put it in here. That yours?
I tried to tell my granddaughter in the golf, and I said, just be competitive with yourself. Always like this.
Detrimental game. My youngest did really well.
So,
Get into competition.
which one's yours?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
My baby and my senior.
Okay, this one I knew.
He chopped his hair last week.
Really, I like that hair.
It's gone.
You know, they do that all the time. You take their pictures for,
Yeah, he looks totally
and they
different
change
now.
their hair.
Yeah, his hair is chopped. It looks weird. I mean, I like it. No, I really like it actually, but it's just like I keep forgetting it.
Kind of looks like his dad. He does, he does. It's just that,
He's got Mark's hand on his.
well, that look. That look he's giving the camera.
Seat. Do you have a seat, Paul?
I brought water and
So, can we,
we're ready?
yeah,
Yep.
you ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So, we are gonna do a gallery walk.
We're all good.
So just again, for the community's sake, so you know, so we're excited to have staff from each of our schools and on district, on hand to do this. A reminder, in the spring of 2021, I know this is a repeat for the board, they've heard a lot, but that's my job, is I'm the constant reminder. Yeah, the district engaged the community in a strategic planning process. The district had community members who represented different aspects of the community run a strategic plan for the district. A group of people mapped out the community while inviting anybody who wanted to participate in a 2-night conversation for a future event. They ran the event to gather input from members of the community. The themes that emerged in the process were the priorities that are outlined in our strategic plan, which was put together by the Vision Element Study Team and approved by the board in July of 2021. To implement the strategic plan, the priorities set by our community and our board, we have developed a district-wide balanced scorecard system. That balanced scorecard is really a snapshot of our current state, how we align our work to the strategic plan. It's like our vital measures. You've heard me say this before, right? It's like going, for your checkup. We look at our scorecard to check our vital signs, our heart rate, our blood pressure, reflexes. They represent our vital signs for the district. So they help us measure our progress. So to review the work that was being done, we're going to separate the board. We'll give you 10 minutes. I'm going to separate you into groups of 2, and then we'll just have one of the staff groups just have a break. So I would say if you 2 want to go to elementary school in OSC, you 2 want to go across the hall to the high school, and if Teresa and Scott and Caleb want to go to the primary school, we'll start there. And I'll set a timer for 10 minutes, and we will just rotate through counterclockwise.
You're good.
Okay.
Couple things. So we want to highlight is first of all, just kind of what we believe. So we believe that obviously relationships are important. We also know that students invest when they feel like they're part of a community, not on their own. And trying to help nurture every student's full potential. We have high academic expectations, but we also know that we need to match it with high level support. And that when we think about our students, we want them to take ownership of their learning, take pride in living out the mission and see ways to give back and serve the community. So we chose to focus on standards 1 and standard 2. So.
I'm number 1.
Oh, I was like,
So when is our time where we get to?
We have a practice, So the first, so again,
where the investments. So like I have in my 4th and my 5th grade class, Mr. Stefani and I share a group. So during Sunday program, basically what it is we find out what your needs are and we meet them. So right now, Stefani, Mr. Stefani and I are, we have
really solid in order for us to
between
do this part
OSC
here.
and
And
our
talk
5th
about
grade
how
group
at our
that we
younger
meet
levels, like
daily,
4K
we
and
do
kindergarten,
rotations.
building those
That's
foundational
met
skills
every night.
that are critical
So
to this
a
part
big
right
part of
here.
WIN is us
And then they
knowing
also
that
talk about
kids need different
Scarborough's
levels of
role,
support. And so these
and
are some
all
of
of
the
these
levels.
different
So
pieces
like
are
Mrs. Collins
interlined
talking
together,
about,
so there's vocabulary,
that's a
there's
specialist
language structure,
intervention,
verbal
intensive
reasoning,
intervention.
literacy knowledge,
And then we have
phonological
classroom
awareness,
intervention
decoding,
happening.
sight
We also
recognition,
talk
and they talk about how each of these
extension,
different pieces works together,
teaching.
and you need all of those in
So
order for kids to be
all that is
successful
part
at
of
reading.
our WIN time.
So if kids are struggling with reading, it could
Advanced
possibly be
learning
a coding
opportunities
strand,
come up.
and if you
Yeah,
don't
so
have
we
that,
have quite a
all
few
of this doesn't work
advanced learning
together. So
opportunities
again,
for our
those
kids at
foundational
this
skills
stage,
are
which is
critical,
super cool.
and you have to work on
One
them
thing
all
that they
together
did
to
for
make it.
5th and 6th graders went to a math 24 module here, I believe it was in the
We've only done the 3 modules so
And
far.
so the
module
team
2
practiced
on
and they, math 24 is kind of like a card game.
We
Practice your
discovered
math
in
facts.
that
So
module
they do that throughout the
we
school
were
year and then I think they had to audition for the
Yeah, they
team.
could come and they could practice and we help students who are interested in math. The math meet was more based
one
off
of the resources they
like
gave
where
us
kids were at,
was
if they were
some
willing
tools
to
to
take on
kind
that
of structure
challenge
some lessons.
of
So
extension.
for example, the
And
question
then
words,
talk about
when we
math
ask
before
kids
and
to ask
then
a
also.
question, they only
Yes, so Youth Art Month
vice
is
versa.
the month of
We
March,
ask
so
them to answer
I
a question,
have
they
the
ask a
honor of
question,
choosing
or
3
the other way around.
students.
We
And
ask
since
them
I
to
teach
choose
at 3
a
schools, I
question.
try and do one from primary, one from
So
elementary,
we
one
thought,
from
see, we
middle.
started using
And
these
we
as,
put them into
draft
a
modeling tools.
exhibit,
I
which is
want you
the
to ask a where
Madison.
question
And
and here's how
then
you could start
these
that. You could
different
say,
projects,
where is the dog
can
going
get chosen to go to state. So last year, all 3 of my students went to state. This year, all 3 of my students went to state. And it also includes our middle school and high school students. So it's kind of a
And then we
community
also
and
have
like a
this,
district-wide
just as a
thing that we get to do.
conversation starter to use these words with our kids.
We also were
So
part of the
some
spelling
academic
bee again.
vocabulary
And then you
that
wanna
we
touch on
expose our
financial
kids
literacy
to.
since they're in the room?
That
Yeah,
you
I
want to
actually,
make a
so
statement.
the high school class, there's a high
You
school
can,
class, and
ask
they
or
came in
answer
and
questions. You
presented
can
to our
restate
3rd
what you
graders,
heard.
and I believe 4th graders, about financial literacy. So this is in my classroom. 3 high school boys came in and taught
Module
3rd
3
graders,
was on
one of them being your
the
daughter, about financial
good-sized
literacy.
module.
So they came in and they read the
But it
book.
was really.
And they said, if you have, yes, like 25 cents, this can buy you a gumball.
But because we
And how can you turn that 25 cents into $1 equity? Well, you can buy with $1 and it goes all the way up to $1 million, which can take you to the moon, apparently.
Yeah, that's what the book says.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
it was super,
that it goes under, so I, it was
involved,
really, really
super
nice to
involved,
like,
and they
ask
asked
me
really
like,
good
oh, this
questions.
is why we're
and
doing it.
The students.
This is why we're spending all this time on it, and that's why we're going 4K through 2nd with it,
Very
to help build that
And that was part of the Jumpstart Teen Teaching Program, and then also our 5th grade team
Yes,
does
so
every year
you
does
make
like
your
a stock
things
get
bigger.
up
Yeah,
challenge.
so can't see
Companies
anymore.
watch
So,
that.
there's
Time?
words and
You wanna talk
sentences,
projects?
rhyming
Or
alliteration.
we'll do that one.
Either one, I
and
can touch base on both. So the
And then those
stock
academic
companies,
awareness,
these kids get to pick which
isolating,
stock they want, have their fund money, and they
segmenting,
are doing that
adding the
weekly.
lead, and
Did it go up? What is the difference? How much money did they make? How much money did
switching
they
gears.
lose?
Pillar
What they would do
two. Those are two of the
differently?
different
So it's
areas
a really
that
great,
have highlighted in our
way for
scorecard
us to get our
details.
kids financially, just thinking of bigger things as they grow up in the world and how they want to continue on. Our project night is amazing. So we have, some, you wanna talk about
Sure.
OSC?
So OSC Project Night just happened, and so this was an interactive partnership with the ICH Trail Alliance and our community, and so there's a lot of people involved. If you weren't able to be there, so bad for you because it was awesome. We also, within our My View literacy program, we have an increase in projects when we think about listening, research, writing, speaking. And So our third grade did some communities, our fourth grade did some playground projects that they brought to me and tied into what our work is gonna be. And then our fifth grade with Fine Arts Night, and then also did a recent projects too.
Yes. Yep.
You wanna do this part?
Well, we know for a child to succeed is if they're not feeling loved, secure, and feeling like they're part of that community, that we're gonna lose them. So our job is that we are people-focused. We're ready to learn. We include everybody. We're trying to always be our best, and we're empathetic and encouraging. Those are some of the things that we really need as we, with all the things that are going on with our kids now. And that empathy, compassion, no one knows what's happening in anybody's life. So it's really just making everyone understand, adults and kids, what is really important.
Assemblies, our community values team has asked, we have 3 assemblies, one after each break. So when kids first come back to the school year, we have a welcome back assembly, then at winter break, we have kind of another one, but it's by grade level teams. And then after spring break, we have another all-school assembly. And so we have different focuses this year for each of them.
All the students from
But
kindergarten
these
to
are
second grade
beginning of
are
the
rules, so
year,
they can do this.
are
89% of
determined
the
to be the
kids
best,
have
and the
participated in
Lone
some way.
Came
And this is
presented
the
to grade
total
levels.
miles that they
And then
have
our end of
already,
the year assembly, which
run
also
this
we
year.
tied in solar
And
eclipse and
then
Adam.
typically a lot of the kids will do 3,
Speaking of solar eclipse,
so almost.
touch on that?
Yeah,
But
we
honestly,
got
one of the things that we
donation
talked
of
to
all
first
of these
grade team
electric
would share a little
classes,
bit,
so
or kindergarten team would share a lot.
grade through
Because a lot of times
fifth
when kids
grade
have
got
magical,
the chance to
it
go
just calms
outside
them
and
down when they come back,
experience
just
like,
because they're
in
running and they
elementary
run
school,
fast
all the
around,
t-shirts.
and
And they still love to wear those t-shirts all the
So it's
time.
not every recess that we have.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
awesome.
volunteers.
So that was a fun art project, so super cool to talk about.
And then we also highlight a little bit of, yeah.
So, this year, we decided to, or in fact, we decided fun week to, or our staff team each other was to do a quiz. And we wanted to give 3 fun facts about ourselves, and then Amy very randomly selected them and put a bunch of quizzes for us for 4 weeks.
Thinking, but it'll be really good for our students.
You
This is a
guys took
picture of the
quizzes for us,
PTO
but here's an example of ours. We have our pictures with ours, that way in case you don't happen to know the person's name within the building. And then the facts, and we had to match them up, and we rated, and you guys did a nice job. And we just say,
Yeah, I
you guys, we always get fun little stickers to go with it, because the teachers love stickers and. Right, so it's just, it was a fun way for us to kind of
change
A,
next year,
get to
as
like,
far as,
learn
that,
some
there'll
fun
be a
things
different
about our
amount of
staff
people on the
around us.
playground and different things, but we've also.
I had to think of really interesting, different things that maybe somebody wouldn't know about me, and it was hard.
It was interesting to see.
Questions for us?
We had done something last year. Those t-shirts.
Yeah.
They just highlighted this time we thought this as one of those, can I wash this t-shirt? But yeah, I was interested to see the teachers that kind of cheat. And I had to wash it.
I would walk by
You
and
don't have to, it should be like,
don't
dry. So there's the, and the, yeah, the people shrink and it might go on.
But, I mean, just a general comment, like,
Or don't matter, so if you didn't get them all right, you go through with the. Do you have any, do you have any questions?
I mean, it's just, I think you guys are doing these
He's right here. I actually just put them in the weekly memo this past week. Yes, I shared that this year, so I do have those. So if you are interested about our staff, I'm happy to share the ones for staff.
What's right there? It's a really.
These ones, well,
It's not all on here.
it's not all of them, it's just the first page of
3 pages of
With
them.
the kids, and I just.
This one was a big one.
So many things. I was like, what's on that?
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, that was just a sample.
Yep.
Sorry.
I was like,
The 5th grade, yes, it was so cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Are we moving?
We're moving to the middle school group. Follow Nick, he'll take you to that
That's
group.
why you're standing there looking so.
I hadn't heard that. My first time. Oh, we're going.
I was gonna say, there's a, yep.
Thank you, thank you.
Very long day.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We'll have some things in the middle, so they can go in one door and out the other. And I'm like, everything's underwater, we do like.
Great idea.
Fish, turtles. I saw a video and I was like, I have.
How'd you score? Well, not too well.
My daughter.
Should we get a break?
Hey, let's get a break.
I know. But you learned something, right?
Coming. Awesome. Hello.
Too. I tried to get Lori to come.
Welcome, everybody.
Hi there.
So this is our gallery walk, and we focus, you'll see in a little bit, on pillars 1 and 2. But our focus, some things we want to let you know about our learning environment is we believe that relationships are a super important part, so we work really hard to build those. And also understand that it's not something that education isn't something we should be doing on our own. It's a partnership with our families and with our communities. And so we try to really work hard at nurturing every student's full potential. We also believe in high academic standards, but also we know that students need also some support, and so we try to balance that. We really are focused on inclusion and developing innovative problem solvers like our plan talks about, but we also really try to think about different ways we can serve our community. And so we didn't really touch on that in this presentation, but it is something that's really important. Pillar 1, preparing for the future,
Win. Okay, so when is our time where each grade level has the time where they just come together? Ours is 30 minutes, and it gives, when purposes is to give you what you need. So if you need extra instruction in math, we'll give you some math time. If you need extra instruction in reading, right now, Mr. Stefani and I have been having a class of 13 kiddos between OSC and elementary school working on an intensive intervention. It's just giving them what they need, giving them a place to be, and really working on that confidence. So, because we know that with kiddos that are struggling, maybe in school, that confidence is something that we really need to incorporate and really push.
And one nice thing about this structure is that we understand that confidence comes with skill building, right? And so we think about different ways to do that, whether it's in small group, reteaching or pre-teaching skills, whether it's also extending, right, and giving kids some challenge, and like we talked about, is personalized. Some other things that we're doing.
Yes, every student has access to it, yes.
Does every student take advantage of it, or is it optional?
It's not optional. So.
And then this year we really focused on some advanced learning opportunities in our district.
Yes, so 5th and 6th grade went to a math meet where they essentially took a math exam and then graded themselves and figured out their place. So they trained and practiced their different math facts so they can go to that. They also basically 4th and 5th grade is like math 24. And if you're not familiar, that math 24 is where you're practicing your math facts. Yes, I believe addition and subtraction as well. So they created a team, they went to that. And then I do Youth Art Month, which is the month of March. I get to pick 3 kiddos, so I'm at 3 schools, so I do one from primary, one from elementary, one from OSC. And I take their art, we frame it, and then we send it to an art exhibit in Madison. And the middle school and high school also participate. And all 3 of my kids' projects went to state this year, so then they get a little ribbon and other fun things. So that is one thing that they participate in, and the spelling bee as well.
Yeah, so this year we got back, you went to the Scripps Spelling Bee, and so this is our 5th grade student.
Right, I know. I think it's a whole thing knowing that.
Financial literacy, you want to touch on these?
Yes, so there is a financial literacy class at the high school, and they came to the elementary school at OSC to talk to 3rd and 4th grade students about money and how to save money, how to trade money.
Try the 4th time.
Have more money. There is a book that they use that was kind of an interactive video, and the kids had to fill out a worksheet. It's part of the Jump Start Team Tech program. So they came in, the kids were super involved, they were super excited to see the older kids because they think they're really cool. And the older kids did a great job answering all the questions.
All of this.
All right, so our 5th graders that didn't participate in that got to do.
I'm gonna say.
And then every week we had to see if it went up, went down,
So them
how much we lost, how much we got, and then also, what would we do different? And you know, it's really kind of cool to see the kids starting to invest, starting to think outside of that box of, okay, I can take this amount of money and make it this much. So it's been something exciting for our 5th graders to watch.
Can start in 4K.
And then projects are an important part of our curriculum because not only is it great to see students taking that ownership in their learning, but also it helps us reach our literacy standards, speaking, listening, research, writing. And so these are some of the projects that we've engaged in this year. We just had our OSC project night last week, and it was a great experience. If you did not get the opportunity to go, I'm sorry for you because it was a great time. There was a lot of people out in the community. We had a partnership with the Ice Age Trail Alliance. The Ice Age Trail was our focus. We also had third grade focused on communities, was for one of their projects this year within our MyView curriculum. And so you can see different people in the community who came and shared their expertise with our third grade students. Our fourth graders, one of theirs was designing a playground and thinking about different needs that would our student body would have, and presented that to me and challenged me to include that in our proposals. And then Fine Arts Night.
Yeah, in the spring every year, recently OSU joined us, but usually it's LES, we put on Fine Arts Night. So this year the music teacher and I collaborated with all of the classroom teachers and we did arts around the world. So I did a bunch of projects from different areas in the world, and then they did music from different areas of the world, and then in the classrooms, fifth grade focused on Mexico, and they created different projects related to Mexico. Fourth grade did heritage, third grade did cranes, which and like all the different parts of the world. Yeah.
And OSC did Australia.
Yes, OSC did Australia. So we all collaborated.
And
on
if you
that.
got to see through the halls, it was just beautiful. I mean, the artwork that these kids are making is just amazing, and their writing is being shown too. So it's a great night for the kids to show off to their parents and grandparents, all the stuff that they do.
So the other pillar we focused on is nurturing the whole student.
Sure. So at Lodi Elementary, we are people focused. We're ready to learn. We're including everybody, and we're determined to be our best and empathetic and encouraging. You know, with the world today, it is really something important that we value is putting that child first. And so that those kiddos understand what the compassion, what empathy looks like, and making sure that that whole child is seen, heard, and that everybody matters in our community.
Yeah, and you'll hear us often talk about the word value, and the reason why we do that is we believe that our actions come out of values. So what you value is what you act upon, and so these values really do guide what we do. Thank you. And then assemblies are community values team. We should have 3 assemblies. So one we have our students first come back at the beginning of the year, which is this one right here. And so this is our kickoff to the school year. Kind of set the tone, talk about our values, and help students know that we're excited that they're back, and that we care about them. Then after coming back from winter break, we focus on our character trait of determined to be our best. And so we had our Lodi football team come and talk about what that looks like as a team. Not just athletically, but also academically, and for each other.
So it was kind of fun, it was a lot of fun.
And then we did that as grade level teams. And then at the end, after spring break, we had another kind of all-school assembly where we talked about kind of this last push, right? We're going into forward testing, we're going to the end of the year.
It does spell, it does spell.
Steinberg was there also talking about the solar eclipse, we kind of wrapped it all up.
You know your board.
Yeah, solar eclipse.
But it was, I
asked my kids classes, so they're first grade through fifth grade, to go outside and participate and watch the solar eclipse happen. And at the elementary school, all of the kiddos made their own teachers as they were learning about what the eclipse is.
But like you like there are some things like, oh, I can move that about that person, but not about that. Like you gotta pick them up.
Everybody outside.
Staring at the sun.
And then grade level recess. So when we think about creating an environment where everyone's welcome and included, it just made sense for us to try to find out a way that we could do that as a grade level between LES and OSC. So from next year on, we will have lunch and lunch recess by grade level. So all third graders, LES and OSC, all fourth graders and all fifth graders will be together for their lunch and then lunch recess. So
That is the best idea ever, because the kids are like fast. When they come back in fifth grade, they're like, they have mentality with them all the time.
We're merging them
Thank
together.
you.
You should wanna.
any questions for us?
I had to guess.
How much
We're not quite done.
Yeah, I think their last week, or their last evaluation is.
Oh, yeah.
They're not done yet.
So,
I know, like, I need to finish their take class.
Yeah,
Figure that out.
exactly. So yeah, they get super excited.
Yes.
Alright, we're gonna rotate.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
much. So, are you gonna go to your next? You guys will keep you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Last one.
Well, we have to brag about that.
Yeah. Go back up.
Because you
Yeah, I gotta go back.
And
So-
it all
Got
out.
So, welcome. A couple of things. Today we're focused on pillar 1 and pillar 2, but before we do that, we just wanted to kind of set the tone and define what our learning environment is. So at LES and OSC, we really believe that first of all, relationships are important to learning, and then when we build those connections, the students are able to know them, and then we're also able to leverage those connections to help them learn and grow and challenge them. We also know that learning doesn't happen in isolation, at least not best. And so we know our partnerships with the community and families is really important. And it also helps us then be able to nurture every student's full potential. Also, we believe that every student matters, and we know that high academic expectations are important, but also matching that with support that is needed, and that our skilled staff are able to do that in ways that are amazing. And then also trying to help students engage in their learning and have ownership in their learning, while also seeking out ways to give back to the community. We think that's something really important, that if we're grateful, that we're gonna think about ways that we can also give back to and serve it. So pillar 1, preparing the future, Ms. Collins, will talk about when.
All right, so when is the 30 minutes every day that each kid gets what they need. So if my child is advanced and needs higher math or higher reading, we'll do that. We're meeting you where you're at. So for instance, right now, Mr. Stefani and I have a group of and elementary school that we work together for 5th grade, doing an intensive Sunday program. Training. And it has been amazing to watch these kids grow. I mean, you know, when you have a child that struggles, you know, the confidence is here. And to watch where we have come from August to now, and the kids doing like their I'm ready test, and they're like, I went up 72 points. I'm like, I know you went up 72 points. You know, so that is like meeting our kids where they need to be, not only just for academics, but also emotionally.
And a big part of that too is we need to then think about whether their confidence is built by habits. And so we're really working on giving them the skills to then be able to apply that. And sometimes that means reteaching or pre-teaching a concept. A lot of times it's something more specialized or intensive. Sometimes it's just an extension activities and some challenge opportunities for students. Speaking of which, this year we really focused on some advanced learning opportunities for students.
Yes, so 5th and 6th grade went to a math meet this year, so our 5th grade students went and they were practicing their math skills throughout the year, and then they went to this meet, so essentially took a math exam, and then depending on how they did, they placed.
It's the same, well, it's the witness,
But the kids are super excited about it. Our 4th and 5th graders also did Math 24, and Math 24 is kind of like a card game when you're learning a math fact. So calculus, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And so we had a bunch of kids go, and then I get to do youth art month, which is in March. So I get to pick 3 kiddos, I try and do one from primary, one from elementary.
I just was trying to figure out how this
And we put all the art together, and then we put it in the exhibition, and Madison. And middle schoolers and the high schoolers also participate, so it's kind of a district-wide thing. The kids get to come, we have a reception, and then all 3 of my kiddos, their projects went to state this year, so they were super excited. They got ribbons, they got awards.
And that happens once a year or once a month?
Once a year.
Okay.
Yep, just during youth art month.
And that's through primary through the high school.
Yep, kindergarten through 12th grade. Oh my gosh, it is the hardest thing I ever do. I know. I'll try like during work time, I'm like, okay, this sounds really good, I'll write that down. Last year I had the worst time. This year I was a little more prepared. Yeah, last year was crazy.
We also had the spelling bee this year. This is our 5th grade student who got to go to the regional bee. And so we had a local bee, and him and the 6th grade student were able to go to the regional bee.
It was so exciting to watch.
Oh, he was so excited.
It's a financial literacy.
Yeah, so this year, high school students from a financial literacy class came in and taught our 4th and 5th graders about money. This is in my classroom right here. So I had 3 high school students come in and teach my 3rd graders about money and how you can turn your money into more and what you can do with that money. So we talked about how a quarter can buy you a drum ball, and then how we can make that quarter into $1 million. Super fun. They did an interactive book.
I didn't have it, but I was like, oh, I remember you.
They did a great job teaching that. I was super like having the older kids come in.
Yeah, and our 5th graders that didn't have that experience, they get to take their own stock we give them 20,000 fake bucks, and they get to watch it weekly to see, did it go up, did it go down? You know, yeah, so that's really cool, so
Right, like,
that will end this week,
singing-
so we're not sure who
singing
the
like
big
that.
moneymaker is yet.
That's awesome.
Yes, you know, thinking outside of that box.
Yeah.
You know, which nothing we, when we were younger, ever had that opportunity to think about that, so.
And then projects are an important part of our curriculum.
Yeah, right? Like,
Because
so
they
glad
help
you
a lot
got
of
this
different ways.
figured out.
We talked about my trial, but also, like within our language arts standards with speaking and listening and writing and research. And so, if you didn't get a chance, OSC Project Night was last week and it was a huge success. Lots of people out in the community and the partnership with the ICH Trail Alliance was just great, and students were definitely experts. Our third grade, my new curriculum has a connection to project within each unit. And so this is one of the units, and there was a bunch of community. And so we have different people from the community come and talk and teach about their expertise area to our third grade students. Our fourth grade students, one of their unit projects was based off of playgrounds and making sure that you're considering everybody an inclusive playground. And so what would that look like? What should be a part of our playground? And so they presented to me on that. And then fifth grade, they recently had some other project night that they did, but this is something I wanted to highlight too, was just our fine arts night and their projects that they've done.
Yeah.
So before you do that, will that influence the playground that's coming?
Yeah, so I take all their input, yeah.
So they did all the research and looked at and went
Say they
down.
got
Yep.
Oh my gosh, the creative things they come up with is crazy. No, you're good. Yeah, so we do fine arts night at the elementary school this year, and OSC joined us this year as well. So I worked with the music teacher and also collaborated with all of the classroom teachers. So this year we decided to do arts around the world. So I focused on art projects from different areas of the world. In music class, they talked about different music and then did music from different countries, and then in their classrooms, each grade did a little differently. So fifth grade did Mexico and focused on their culture.
I figured out how to say,
Fourth grade did heritage, so they figured out where they were from and then focused on like what their heritage looked like in those different areas. Third grade did cranes and where the cranes come from around the world. Then OSC did Australia. So super fun. Kids were super excited. They love seeing their artwork hang up in the hallways. I love it. Yeah.
Cranes, work that went into the
Oh, yeah.
visual display in the hallway
Yeah.
was amazing.
It's crazy.
Super neat. And so the other pillar we focused on was pillar 2, nurturing the whole student.
And we're all like.
Let's talk about why this counts.
Okay, so at Lodi Elementary, we are people focused. We are ready to learn. We're really focused on including everyone and teaching that from the time they come into our school and why that's important from the time they leave, and how that continues on throughout their life. We are determined to be our best. And we all know that we have bad days or days that we're not our best, but we're always encouraged to be better than the day before if we've had a rough time. Empathetic and encouraging. And with the, the recent things in the news and everything, just teaching our kids, we're not sure what's going on in anybody else's life. Be kind.
Yeah.
Just be kind.
Yeah.
And our kids, I have to say, from looking at from when my kids were little and growing up in the school to what we're doing now, it's amazing. Like, even the population that I work with, how kind and inclusive we are. And
Yeah.
they take care of each other.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and I feel
so-
like even Sky's grade to sophomore.
Yeah.
And Sky graduated in 2016, so it's like even that a little
for
bit,
sure.
Yeah.
And not that they were
No,
mean or
no, but-
like just the way they were
Different
more
experience.
girl that I just
Yeah.
like and one thing that we did this year too is every month or two we focused on a different one. So the beginning of the school year was people focused, and then each grade or each classroom got to vote for someone in their class who was really people focused.
They're showing those skills.
So,
then.
yes, and it was
Yeah.
really cool because the kids everyone was included as well, like everyone got a vote for at least one of them, like it was super awesome. The kids were very excited and they were honored.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we talk about values a lot because we believe that values determine your actions. And so our community values team decided that out of those actions, we should have some assemblies. And so we have a beginning of the year assembly where we welcome the whole school back together. And so that's this assembly. And so it's really about us setting our learning environment, our expectations, but also why we're there, and remind them that's because of them, right? Like, we believe that what we teach is really important, but it's not more important than them. And then when they come back from winter break, we do this by grade levels. And it just so happens that month, when they come back, January is determined to be the best. And so we had the Lodi football team this year come and talk about determined to be your best. what that means on the field and off the field. And so that really, students were super, it was really
They thought they were celebrities.
It was really fun for them. And I learned a lot from them too. And then, Mr. Steinberg, there you are. And then coming back from spring break, we had another all-school assembly. We just really focused on getting the most out of this last push of the school year. And thinking about ways we can challenge each other. We established those same things we talked about at the beginning of the year. We also wrapped it in the solar eclipse this year. But yeah, it's just another great time for us to kind of reset, get back together, and push to the end of the year.
So when we go to the board meetings and we have those motivational speakers, he's going to play the
He's good.
Really good at it, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, speaking of solar eclipses, so that's one to the, like, talk about this?
Yeah, so we had solar eclipse classes for our first grade.
I like how you're like,
First grade. How we had a place that we could actually see it in our area.
all right, hello.
Our first elementary school did t-shirts. Yes, and so
Go ahead and
each kid created a t-shirt using acrylic paint and black shirt, and they, and those shirts, they smell. I see at least one kid every day wearing. I love that. Super cool that everyone got that.
So they each made their own?
Yes.
Yes, so our science committee helped out with that, and they had the kids out in the commons, and they just, each class made them, it was really cool to see. And really cool to see the base designs, because you could totally be creative with whatever, however you wanted it to
The
look.
different colors they could do.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
And then Scarborough's reading rope, there's different components like background knowledge, vocabulary, language structures, verbal reasoning, literacy knowledge, phonological awareness, decoding, and sight recognition, and how each of these different pieces you're working and teaching the kids, but you need all of them integrated together in order to really have successful, fluent students that are able to comprehend. They talked about how sometimes if you have a student that's
Mr. Barnett gave me
it
the.
could be, something.
Moving on.
But he's coding, and they don't have
Sometimes.
that, they're all gonna say
Thank
that.
you.
Someone's
Yes,
gonna
thank you.
appreciate it, like it too. So,
Module 2, we learned about oral language, and we know that our
Okay,
kids.
I just want to say this.
What we discovered is that we really need to do some more intentional teaching around that.
How much you Derek
and,
never?
So they gave us some resources, in addition to the book and the videos, we have some time to collaborate together. And then they also have some ways they gave us this resource from the book, modeling how to ask questions. So a lot of times if I'll say to the kids, do you have any questions, they want to tell a story. So we're so we are going to try to model this for them by giving them these W question words and then teaching, like, okay, we're going to focus on one question. So you could say.
You're more than welcome. I can pull up a chair, you can sit right next to me, I'll come on.
Oh, you know, as wonderful as that sounds, Vince, no thanks.
Alright.
You and my daughter are gonna go home now, so.
The art of conversation.
Poor daughter.
So our kids are really good at telling all their ideas,
Okay,
but
so
really just
I have some
interacting
science
with each other,
experiments,
right?
I
Like,
don't know what
I heard you say this and just trying to
to connect some
conversation going, right?
Okay,
So
so
we're gonna try to use this,
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
and I'm.
maybe make a statement and tell us something, and then as the conversation progresses, maybe someone in your circle is gonna ask a question. Answer the question, you're gonna restate what you.
So I will get permission
So
before I
just
do that.
teaching the kids that our conversation has a lot of.
I love that.
I know,
I'm
and it's
so
like,
excited
and it's
about
hands-on
that.
stuff they gave us, so just kind of reminds you.
Oh, I think they
of
could
things that
totally.
was presented, and you can find ways to fit it into your day. Whether this is
Well,
from more beyond that you're doing this, and this is all part of our training, right? So,
Okay.
This is where it is. Okay, well, if you can get mom's permission for that, I can, I mean, I can take my car.
Yeah.
Penny's gonna let me know what day works best for
Okay,
her.
and it's really exciting because it's a whole staff learning experience, instead of bringing what you've experienced from your undergrad or from your classes or workshops you've taken, but this is a really nice experience.
Just like.
Absolutely, what I also love about that is it's something that happens, it's not like you take,
It's not new.
now we're gonna start,
Yes.
it's just modeling, it's just reminding you, yes. Yes, you put that down whenever you ask a question, because does anybody have a question? Yeah, my mom.
And, I know, and then you're gonna go,
How am I gonna be nice without like choking one of them off?
No, that was last week.
Yeah, that's keeps being done.
He took a nap.
And then module 3 is phonological lyrics.
No one got hit.
That's what I'm just
That's progress.
That
Thank
is,
you.
so
Thank you
what
both.
it
Yep.
basically
See you tomorrow.
reiterated to us is that what we're working on with Haggerty is such a
thanks.
big key to literacy training, and to them reading and to them writing. So what this big umbrella underneath it is phonemic awareness of the side over here, which is like isolating words, blending, segmenting, adding, deleting, and manipulating sounds. And it's all with sounds, so it's nothing to do with writing or looking at letters. And this is really what our Haggerty is, right? So like 4K through 2 is doing this program, and we are already got this really good base. So it kind of was just really nice that we're like, we're doing the right thing, right? So it was just really nice to see that, I think. And that's yeah.
Can you say that word again?
Phonological awareness. I will never forget it until tomorrow.
And then pillar 2, these are 2 areas that we're highlighting on our scorecard. And Bill was going to share a little bit about that.
We were trying to find ways to help our kids get some more movement in because they need to move, especially after these lots of side recess days. They've been wonderful. And trying to be more intentional about incorporating movement days right before, or movement times right before long academic periods or testing. There's lots of different online programs, Go Doodle apps, going for a walk outside with the kiddos, walking the mileage route, which we'll talk about, and I know a lot of teachers do mindfulness and different yoga type things also. And then we have Mileage Club, which takes place at recess when we have parent volunteers come in. And we have 89% of our students who have participated in some way. It means maybe they ran one lap at least.
They have to run.
No, they can walk. Moving form, there's a course out on the playground for a total of 844.75 miles. That's just this year.
It's just this year.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not at a recess, it's when we have parent volunteers that are able to come. And I interviewed some kiddos and let them share.
Volunteer for that, you walk with them, or what are you doing?
They're there the kids, what they have is they've got a little code, the QR code, so they'll go around and then they help to scan that code, and just to make sure, as they're getting
And
all
get the kid the right card to start it off.
Yeah, and encourage them.
So I apologize, it's really quiet, it's
Really loud, and I come closer.
It's really loud in my house.
Yeah, now it's quiet over there, right.
These are what the kiddos have to say
I'm
about
so proud of myself for running so far. Mileage Club is fun. Mileage Club made us feel that.
If they're the volunteer.
Yeah. They volunteer, yeah. She's funny.
That's what the kiddos have to say about it.
Don't seem totally sure they like it.
Yeah.
We're talking in front of them.
You put a camera.
I know, that's what I got.
Camera in front of them and it's
Oh,
like
that's
they're
adorable.
Yeah.
So it's good.
That's so great.
And then pillar 4?
So pillar 4, you guys got an example of our pillar 4 that we worked on this year. So Amy put together quizzes. We all answered as a staff 3 fun facts about ourselves, and then she compiled them all into a quiz so we could get to know each other a little better. And you guys did an example, and it was fun to see. I hope you guys have fun doing it. Only 2 of you took it. I apologize.
I figured out this was mine when I took
How about you get it?
Did I get okay?
This is the You got, yes,
I got
100%.
100%. Oh, I knew it.
I got 2.
But you know, you did a great job
You did a
trying. It
great
was
job.
And those are scratch and sniff.
They
stickers.
were.
Oh, we got, I did get a sticker.
You have to remember, I've been with these people longer.
I know, so actually I should feel good.
You did
You did really, really well.
I'm so sorry, I don't remember even getting this email, so I'm so sorry.
No,
that
that's,
I don't think I ignored her.
No, I know, no, to participate. But you gotta feel it. I know, yeah, right? You have to be like, oh.
Some of the hardest ones though were people who were really generic.
like if they had like a really out there kayak garden and right. Cause you're like, okay, that could be like
Could I say
cool.
like to wear really long earrings? That would do it. That would, that's something like
But
that.
I like to read books and I was like, which we all like to read.
So it was a lot of fun.
Surprising ones.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to get to know each other and to, learn some fun facts about everybody, so.
But it was interesting.
Some conversations.
Yeah, exactly. The impact team had come up with
Yeah,
this
true.
idea, and one of the things we noticed is that there are a lot of times where staff don't
Volleyball.
know all the staff, they
The
don't
volleyball.
like what they look like or their positions, and
Right.
so just the more that we can try to
Yes.
remind them of that, especially if you're,
If
if
I wanna
you
open
start,
it in,
if your assistant that maybe is starting in the middle of the year, like it's
Yeah.
really hard to do this, and so the more times we can try to put faces to names to do all that, helps people
I
feel
always
connected.
appreciate that when you're doing
Is it
that
juice?
with our reports, when you
Oh.
introduce the new staff, that they have the picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just.
It's hard to
Helpful
just
for
assume.
everybody.
Yeah,
Right?
like, yeah, for sure. You see, you know, someone from a building, you're like,
You look
Saw you somewhere.
so.
How did the first graders do so many more miles than the kindergarten and second?
They probably have more parents.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just
That's so
curious.
funny, cause
They have more reasons.
my kids didn't feel like they did, cause they would always do but the kids I had that participated really ran a lot too, so.
Yeah, there's about 10 parent volunteers, and each time I try to get even more to do that, because it really is something that we just don't have the assistants do it, it really needs to be a parent that is helping support with that, so.
So cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, so. All right, thank you.
I said, I think so.
Like it hasn't been long.
You did.
Then there are some.
They were so awesome.
Ready? What I didn't know, I was thinking.
That's that one, that little.
Word over.
Yeah.
We did at times, right, I go back a little bit, which was good. Typically had in the past.
They were just wondering, but then I kind of talked about it with my kid.
Yeah, right. Probably not a good idea.
No, I'm probably okay for the rest of them.
I'm good. I should be.
You should be good. We're not gonna go for 2 more hours, right?
I don't know what's going on there.
So I got a 100 on that little quiz.
I did too. I did
People
too.
to know.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
100.
Yeah, I got a 100 too.
Teacher's pet.
No, which is good. I'm excited. Thanks.
All right, so thanks again, everybody, for,
Yes.
first of all, thanks to our staff.
Yes.
Who came and presented, and our administrative team. Thank you for presenting. It's just good for the board to hear directly from the buildings what they're doing.
No, and I thank you to everybody who did that, and I was kind of joking, but for real, like, we love this when the board gets to see this.
We
Like, I was so
do.
excited, we had the mock trial, we had the a cappella group, and then we get this.
This is like a fun
This is
meeting.
awesome, and I'm sorry, Sarah and Teresa, they are not always like this.
I wish they were.
But I wish they were, but it's still good times, but I love this stuff, so I thank you for all the time that everybody did to do that. All right, so now we are going to move on. We do not have any public input, correct? All right, and now we're consent agenda.
Yes,
Yes, I will. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the approval of the
Maybe
resignation.
I should go over this stuff first, huh?
Yeah, you should probably read.
Yeah, why are you telling me?
I don't know. I was so nervous to tell you. You were telling, then I skipped my part. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to really move this along tonight. Okay, so our consent agenda items. We have our payroll checks, we have our accounts payable checks, and our automatic clearing house payments, and our credit card payments. And yes, we have our approval of our minutes. Thank you, Adam. And we have our fundraiser request. We have a girls soccer fundraiser and a volleyball fundraiser. We have our fundraiser report from the girls soccer team. We have our field trip request for the FFA state convention. We have some committee recommendations for approval. We have, from our personnel committee, the Lodi Pool improved wage structure. And our facility and finance committee is the LCAP rental agreement. We have nothing under other. We have our resignations and retirement. We have our resignations, we have volunteer swim coach, our dance team advisor, school nurse, mock trial coach, and middle school language arts department chair. For co-curricular, we have our 4K through 12 content area lead department chair and a volunteer wrestling coach. And for crew, we have our summer weightlifting advisor, 4 of those volunteers, and then we have our 2 crew instructors. For regular staff, we have we have 49 summer school teachers, 28 summer school support staff, summer cleaning crew, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our summer grounds crew, 1. We have a 3rd grade teacher, 7th grade language arts, and high school math teacher. And then for personnel, we have leave without pay request, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and administrative professional improvement request. Now it's you, Terry, and I'm sorry about that.
So I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the approval of the resignation of Jessica Holman from the middle school language arts department chair and approve the volleyball fundraiser and table the HS math teacher.
I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Now we move on to our administrative reports. We will start with our Lodi Elementary OSC.
Hello, so a couple things I wanted to highlight is, first of all, it's at assessment time of year, right? And so just a reminder that those assessments we really use to guide our instruction and to help us know how to meet students where they're at. And also that it just either confirms or challenges what we already are seeing in our daily observations and assessments. But it's really helpful as we look at our growth over time and throughout the school year. OSC Project Night was last week, and so if you didn't get an opportunity to join into that, there's some information on the website there that they created about that opportunity. We had 3 different ways you could engage. We had a yellow blaze, bus experience, we had a blue blaze walking experience, and we had the white blaze, which was just your self-guided experience. Students did a great job, and I'm really proud of them, but also of the advisors for looking at project differently, having the courage to do that, and seeing about ways that we could get the community out in the community versus just coming to us. And then setting students up for success. There's just a few things that we I talked about there about our partnership with the middle school, our partnership with the primary school as we think about this transition time of year for our students. The 2nd graders coming to us, we have them visiting tomorrow, and we also have had some visits of our 5th graders to the middle school and just trying to help set them up for that as it's on their minds, while also still trying to help them get the most out of their days in their current building. Highlighted Stride with Pride and just the great event that was. And then also just some reminders. There is some, things happen in life, and sometimes we get to learn from those opportunities. And I shared an email that I shared with staff just so you can kind of get a glimpse into the heart work that is also part of what we do. And then I highlighted our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders who were our guardians of Lodi Pride for the month of April. And then culture and climate, just talked about some things that we're doing. We have some people who are leaving, like you just talked about, and some people who are coming, and just having a climate and culture where we can welcome those staff and set them up for success. And then I also shared with you my survey results for our building, and then also ways that we partner with the PTO and the district to highlight staff and the work that they do this week. It was quite the experience, and we know that they do a lot, and so we just want to always recognize that and thank them. Special thanks goes out to Deanne Kleinschmidt and Kathy Klinke for the work that they did, making sure that staff felt appreciated last week.
Thank you so much. All right, and we have Lodi Middle School.
All right, good evening, everyone. First thing on the agenda there was to honor our students of the month for March, and they were honored for improvement throughout this school year. And just want to mention that we have a school board member's daughter that received an award, so congratulations there. But just an awesome award for these kids that work so hard each day and have grown so much this year. And I meant to, on this next one, Administrative Assistant Day, I meant to post a picture of Dawn and Leslie, and then I just left it blank. I forgot, so I apologize for that. But I need to honor them. You know, there's so many things that make a school go, and one of those super important things is the administrative assistants. I will tell you that Leslie and Dawn basically, like, they run the show in our building. They keep the day-to-day operations, like, in order, doing attendance, dealing with budget, getting the bills paid, those types of things, they're unbelievable at it. In addition, while they're doing all those things and trying to do this work, there's a whole bunch of kids that are coming to the office not feeling very good, or they gotta call their parents, or they need to see the principal to talk with them because they're concerned about something. So I just wanna thank them because in addition to their awesome skill set, they're awesome people. They're great at connecting with kids, and they make our office such an amazingly safe place for our kids and our staff, and for me, to be honest with you. Just everything is calm in there. They never seem to get overwhelmed no matter what's going on, or at least they hide it really well. But I just really appreciate all they do for our school. Next thing, the Teacher Appreciation Week festivities. So this is something that Dawn and Leslie and I put together to celebrate our staff, which was awesome. And I just want to say, like, this is really about appreciating staff, but the way I look at it, it's an opportunity for us to bring our staff together. It's like, hey, we're gonna have some food in the teacher's lounge. And by the way, you're all gonna get together. And that's really such an important part about the building, is making sure that we're having time for them to connect as people, not only as professionals. And I also wanna throw a shout out to Piggly Wiggly. So we sent them a list and said, or Leslie sent them a list and said, hey, we're gonna do Teacher Appreciation Week. We're hoping to, see if you'd be willing to donate some things. And they said, sure, we'll donate all of it. So I just wanna give a shout out to them. I also wanna give a shout out to Lodi Sausage. They cut us a deal for some pulled pork that we could provide for lunch, which actually lasted for 2 lunches, so that was even better. But it was just a great week of just getting people together, and our staff really, they appreciate these little things. Especially with, bringing them food. I know that's a little thing, but they do appreciate that. The next thing's another little thing I just want to point out. This is Lori Gwynn, which I caught her putting up these bulletin boards in the LMC, and she does these like monthly. And it's just another thing. I just decided to put that I needed to acknowledge this, because there's so many people that do so many little things, and I can get emotional talking about it. But behind the scenes that you don't see that are so important for our kids and for the atmosphere that are created. What's next there? Oh yeah, we had Solar Eclipse Fun, which was an amazing day. And so I want to thank Michelle Howe. She got us all these glasses, organized them throughout the districts, and the pictures kind of speak for themselves. It's a great opportunity for the kids. I don't know if they realize how lucky they were to have this opportunity to see such a full, almost full eclipse, but it was a super awesome opportunity for them. Next thing is the science fair we had. We had 33 people participate in that, and you can see our winners down there. Adeline Anderson got first place for the moldy bread investigation. Emily Barney got second place for Desert Rust. Billy Edwards got third place for what makes ice melt faster. And Colin Kovnevsky got fourth place for water purification. And I need to thank some local judges. James Lincoln from Lodi Utilities came in. Julie Dietert came in, and she's a study director of LabCorp. And Ann Gross Lloyd came in to be a guest judge as well. Onto the math meet. So this is the first year since COVID. We put a math team together and sent them out of the building to another school. That's something that we feel like is really important for not only engaging our kids, but really honoring those kids that are at the top level, and as a way that we can challenge them. So I look forward to, as we kind of figure out how to build this team up again, I look forward to having our math team build that. And then I'm going to go to 6th grade school forest. So they took an opportunity this spring to go out to the school forest, take a hike, spend some time in nature, and really just a great opportunity for us to use that local resource, which was an awesome time, and the kids really had a great time there. And then we had our middle school dance. We had over 100 kids again. It is an awesome party. It is a full dance floor, and it's really indescribable. Until you've seen a middle school dance with everyone dancing, it's really, it's really special to see. I'll tell you what, that Taylor Swift song starts going, and then everybody's singing, and it's a great time. Then the last thing I'll highlight is the dunk tank. So, as a part of a fundraising effort for our Stride with Pride event, our student celebration team, just off the cuff, they're like, hey, should we do a dunk tank? And then they decided, yeah, let's give it a try. And it worked out really well. We were able to raise $1,300 as a part of that, and it was a really great day. And I'm going to tell you what, didn't know how accurate the middle schoolers would be in throwing. The dunk rate was high. Between the actual hitting the mid-center and then the failure of the thing and you just fall in, because there was a lot of dunks going on. So, yeah, that was a great experience, a great way to celebrate and raise money for that awesome cause. And that's all from the middle school.
Thank you. Lots going on. Lodi High School.
Thank you. So Lodi High School, first page is in the classroom, and I just want to highlight 2 classes. Sports and Entertainment Marketing. Sue Ziegler was able to take her kids to Camp Randall in the Overture Center, which was a great experience for them. I appreciate when teachers can take kids out of the building and give them lots of opportunities to learn. It says financial literature. It's supposed to say financial literacy class, so it is financial literacy class. Our 2 financial literacy teachers had an opportunity, Mitch Hauser and Christy Paskey, to send their students to the elementary and primary schools to teach their kids, students to teach their kids about financial responsibility. It is called the Jumpstart Coalition for Personal Financial Literacy. It's an opportunity that our teachers took advantage of. Our kids got a great opportunity to be in front of other students and to lead them. So I really appreciated Mitch and Christy giving our kids an opportunity to do that. Go to the next page. Not a lot of people know this, but Roman Richardson, who is a senior, Roman Richardson is a national champion. He is a national champion with the Wisconsin Skeeters sled hockey team. They won the 2024 Toyota USA Hockey Sled National Championship. We tried to highlight that at our school a little bit. It was really, really impressive. It hasn't been easy since middle school for Roman, but he took advantage of every opportunity that he had, including being involved in this amazing team and winning a national championship. So we were really proud of him for doing that.
He has such a great attitude. It's awesome.
Yes, and he was definitely featured at our senior night. He was awarded several scholarships, which was awesome. Senior Mason Lane, not many students get an opportunity to get this award. 32 statewide finalists received the 2024 WIA Scholar Athlete Award, and Mason was one of them. It's about everything he's done, not just on the field or on the court or on the wrestling mat, but also in the classroom. So his hard work and dedication definitely paid off. It's a really cool event. He earned it. You can see some of our seniors that are going off to college. Noah Hodak, Will Eckstein, and Leah Trader, and they are going to be participating in some sports, so we honored them. Some staff members, Leo Olson received a scholarship, or not a scholarship, but a grant, thank you, a $1,000 Milton Pella grant. I appreciate his effort in that, and it's going to help his classroom. And then I did want to mention something about Kathy Trinan. I wasn't really sure when we were going to talk about our retirees, maybe during the June meeting, but I threw Kathy in this time. And if you know Kathy at all, Kathy is an amazing person. She has worked at the high school for over 23 years, and she's hanging it up. She is like Derek's talking about with some of our admin assistants. When our kids walk into the office, they are in a better place because of Kathy. When they walk over to the CRC, they are in a better place because of Kathy. So I really appreciate everything that she's done for our school. She's amazing, and she makes me laugh every day, so I appreciate her. Mr. Brown, are you going to talk about Outstanding Impact Awards? Okay, since you're not We had our Outstanding Impact Awards again, that's run by our Rotary. Several high school teachers and other staff members were honored. It's a great event. We can only honor so many teachers in our district, and all of the students that are not given the opportunity to honor a student, they would pick many teachers in their building and many teachers in other buildings. So that was, I really enjoyed going to that and hearing some of the stories from our staff members and students. It's definitely a tearjerker. So, State Soul Ensemble, Kayla's gonna talk a little bit about that. And then there's Sing and Swing, Capital Conference Art Show. Those are two events that really highlight how artistic and amazing our kids are, so you can read about that and some of the students that were involved. I want to remind you that our graduation ceremony, moving on, graduation commencement ceremony is this Sunday. You're all invited to be on the field. That starts at 1 o'clock, so you can be there about 12:50 and we can get you seated. Again, it starts at 1, it'll last about an hour to an hour and a half. I saw the board president's speech, it'll probably be about an hour and 45 minutes now.
It's not that bad.
No, it's gonna be great.
No, I can't cry.
Another way we honor our seniors is Senior Honors Night, and I do want to recognize all of the people that are willing to give scholarships to our kids. Over $73,000 were presented to our graduating class of 2014. And then again, appreciating Kathy and Grant Lemke for all the work they do in that. You can see our Students of the Month. Our Lodi Athletic Booster Club had their event, their banquet, just recently to honor our students. Students got an opportunity to talk a little bit about their experiences, and we were honored to have Badger and Packer football player Jared Aberderis speak about life and what it was like to be a high school athlete, college athlete, and an NFL athlete, which was really cool. Awesome. The rest of it is just advanced placement exams, our final exam schedule, what that looks like, and then talks a little bit about our jobs fair, which you guys all heard about. So thank you very much.
And thank you, and you know that you can brag a little bit about your son doing the sports and entertainment marketing.
Yes, he really enjoys working for the Badgers, and he always likes Lodi kids to come up so he can show off just a little bit.
Notice you kind of skip that because that's how you are, but.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not done. I go curriculum, please.
So the first part, I just wanted to highlight a few glimpses that I took from Facebook, our Facebook posts of our Community Classroom Connection Partnership. So we're in our 3rd year of that, where educators throughout our district sign up to have a yearly goal where they invite a local or regional business or service organization into their classroom to talk about, either engage in a project or talk about employment skills. So you can see some of those opportunities here, but if you peruse through our Facebook page, you'll see plenty of them. One of the aspects of the goal is we want to make sure that not only are we setting this up, but we also give them some recognition by doing a Facebook post, and they get a poster as well, so you'll see those in businesses throughout the community. The next part that I wanted to highlight, and this is unexpected and exciting, is we were awarded a $20,000 grant called the Letters Grant. And let me explain that a little bit more. I think you gotta just scroll up just a little bit there. There you go. So just like we received federal ESSER funds, the state, each district received federal ESSER funds. The state as a whole received some federal ESSER funds, specifically the Department of Public Instruction, that they were divvying out for different things. One of the things was there was something called the Letters Grant that districts could apply for up to $4,000 and receive those grant monies to put forth reading training plans that align with Act 20. So our district, like most districts in the state, applied for that first round of grant funding. We were awarded the $4,000. We did our due diligence, we had our training plans in place early on, and so we spent our $4,000 on some of that reading training. Some districts didn't have their plans in place, or they just didn't apply for that money early on, and so that the funding date for that extinguished, and so those funds were returned to the Department of Public Instruction, and so they opened up suddenly another grant window to which we applied, and we were awarded $20,000 because we have our training plan in place and we can extinguish those funds before the deadline, which is September, this upcoming September. So we just found out about that, and what we will look to do is a journal entry where we will, we were originally planning on spending ESSER 3 funds for that portion of the reading training. We'll now kind of flip it, and we'll free that up for local funds, and we'll put that in its place for our reading training. Does that make sense? We got $20,000. And then an update on the reading training. So as you heard over with the primary school group, we are about a third of the way, a little over a third of the way through our training already, which is really exciting. We have our first 3 modules done, and staff at the elementary and primary level who are responsible for completing this training, they have an option really of completing 7.5 hours of module work this summer, or completing it when they get back during the pre-session, where we have some time built in for that. So we're well on our way, and that's going well. And then lastly, we are at the point where we will be bringing a recommendation to the curriculum committee of the board on Wednesday for a new adoption for our middle school English language arts curriculum. It's been about a 2-year process to get to this point, and we're excited to bring that to the curriculum committee of the board. And you may recall that the full board a few months ago approved to fund that through an ESSER 3 funding that we set aside. So we'll be bringing more information about that to the curriculum committee.
Thank you, and thank you for being on top of your
grant
game on doing that grant, because that obviously getting rewarded for being awesome at what you do. So thank you. All right, LCAT.
All right. This is a report for May 2024. LCAT trained all the core medical staff members in the use of Narcan and the signs and symptoms of an opiate overdose. So for you that don't know what a core team is, in each building there's a core group of people who respond. They're trained in first aid and CPR. They are the responders, first responders in our buildings. So I always want to say a shout out and thank you to them, because they volunteer to do that. And so they were trained in the signs and symptoms of an opiate overdose and how to give the Narcan. 4 separate trainings took place to accomplish this task. All the Narcan will be replaced in September of 2024 because it will expire. Narcan is provided free of charge to the district through a state grant. Brian and Sarah attended a 2-day training session to become certified to teach students in Pre-Venture. Pre-Venture is an evidence-based prevention program that uses personality-focused workshops to promote mental health and delay substance use among youth. The program builds lifelong skills such as goal setting and problem solving to help cope with everyday challenges. The Pre-Venture Facilitator course was paid for by the Columbia County Opioid Grant. LCAT held its April meeting with featured our Lodi Pride Annual Award Ceremony. Award winners met the criteria of exhibiting the values of Lodi Pride. This year we had 6 nominees and 6 recipients for their work supporting youth in the community. Congratulations to the award winners. LCAT is hosting a DITEP training for the district staff on Wednesday, May 29th, 2024, from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. It stands for Drug Impairment Training for Educational Professionals. This course will provide information on current drug trends among youth and recognizing the signs of individuals who are abusing drugs and alcohol in the school environment. Lunch will be provided to the attendees, and the cost of this event is being covered by the state opioid response grant. The in-depth program was taught to a student at Lodi High School, and this is a class that Brian teaches, and it's a cessation of alcohol and drugs, and it's an evidence-based course developed by the American Lung Association. The goal of the course is to educate students about nicotine dependence and to guide the student to identify their own reasons for nicotine use and alternative coping strategies. It is taught in 4 45-minute sessions. And that's it.
Thank you. All right, Caleb.
Thank you. So we're going to skip right to State Solo Ensemble, which as Mr. Jelnick mentioned, I'll be covering. So on April 27th, we had our State Solo Ensemble at UW Whitewater. So 31 events end up moving on from district to state. There'd be 21 solos, 3 duets, 1 trio, and 6 big groups. And at state, the system is one judge can nominate 2 students, 2 acts for what is called an Exemplary Performance Award. And you saw Breakfast Club up there today. Them and their counterpart, Vojazz, both got awarded that. However, I want to focus on 3 students that got nominated, which is also a big deal. That's 2 in every judge sees 50 to 60 acts in a day. That's a big thing. Brant Beyer for musical theater, Tessa Pertzborn for classical vocal, and Emily Tembart for classical vocal as well. Really big award there that we're kind of seeing actually tick up in data as we go through the years in the music wing. And we go to Forensic State, the WISTA State Tournament. That's our second state tournament we have in Lodi. We earned the Distinction in Speech Award. So that means that our scores overall were ranked in the top 6 to 10% of all schools participating, which is, again, a very big deal in that tournament. And Sing Me a Story. So this is a very cool thing that we had happen just last week. So the Sing Me a Story Foundation had reached out earlier in the year about possibly collaborating on a piece with the high school chamber choir. And Geo's Garden, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing respite care to disabled kids, connected us with Max and Sophie, who are 5 and 8, who just live in Madison and attend Geo's Garden. And together they that's a hard word, authored and illustrated a story which was named The Pizza Mystery. And we connected with Sam Spear, who is a DMA student in UW-Madison, and composed this very goofy, funny piece about dogs and robot dogs and space and all fun things like that. And we had a dramatic reading of it at our concert on last Thursday, and then we performed it in full Marvel gear, and it was a lot of fun. And we brought Max and Sophie both up on stage that night, and they loved it. So very cool opportunities here.
That's awesome. Thank you, Caleb. Student Services.
Hi, thank you. First, I would like to recognize Jean Winter and Janelle Sibum for National School Nurse Day, which took place last Wednesday. Our nurses play a vital role in the health and well-being of our students and staff, and I just want to thank them for their expertise, for their compassion, and for their commitment to our community. Next, I'd like to recognize our teaching staff. Of course, last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and it's a great time to recognize staff because of all of the hard work that they've done all school year long. But I also wanted to highlight some of the work that teachers do at the end of the year to really set our students up for success the following year. So some of the things that I mean by that are creating class lists, providing school tours, and having transition meetings for our students who have IEPs, 504 accommodation plans, individualized health plans, and students who are receiving counseling services. Project Search Assessment Day was held on Wednesday, April 10th at Sauk Hospital. And as a reminder, Project Search is a program that provides training and educational leadership opportunities for competitive employment for youth with disabilities. And Project Search is a collaboration that includes local businesses, school districts, and the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. The School District of Lodi had 2 students participate in Assessment Day this year. And finally, I want to recognize Job Shadow Day. This also took place in April, and it took place in Reedsburg this year. This day is put together and hosted by the Sauk County Transition Team, which Lodi is a part of. The purpose of this event is to provide students with a hands-on experience while exploring their interest and really being submerged in the world of work. Students were able to choose which businesses they would like to visit, and 18 of our students participated in Job Shadow Day.
That's awesome. What kind of things did they go to?
They're all listed here, but we had barbershop and so some salon barbershop. There was Car Valley Cheese was a part of that, one of the car dealerships, Land's End, Checkered Flag Embroidery, and the list goes on.
Thank you. That's awesome. Nice selection too. Thank you. Lodi Primary School.
Yeah, good evening. So just a couple things to highlight. So for Pillar 1, thinking about the assessments and kind of like
Mrs. Schrader talked about this end of the year, there's lots of things going on, and the teachers are working on trying to kind of really determine where our kids are ending the year, and then working on those report cards. So last week with our Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, it was a great time to celebrate and just acknowledge a lot of those things that they did, and a special thanks to our parent-teacher organization for planning and organizing those things. The solar eclipse, you heard a little bit about that today. Again, that was a highlight for our students. We did that just for students that were in first and second grade. For that, Mr. Jelinek brought up about the financial literacy teen teaching. Our students really enjoyed that time. A huge shout out to Christy Paskey and the other high school students. Just for teaching them these things that we highlight here about needs, wants, choices, resources, opportunity costs, and financial decision making. For Pillar 2, Mr. Sagami, I want to thank him for what he did for the jump rope for heart. The goal was 6,000 and they reached 11,248. Wow. It was just a fun day and activity for our kids to participate in. And then, yeah, above the ones were things we kind of highlighted, so thank you.
Thank you. All right, our district administrator report.
Joel had mentioned graduations this Sunday at 1 p.m. This is always a culminating event, obviously, for our school district and the community. It's clearly a great way to celebrate the accomplishments of our students. However, sometimes we forget to acknowledge the graduation as a district-wide celebration of our staff as well, and all the work they put in to get our students to this point in their life. So thanks to all of our staff who have supported our current students this year and all you've done and have been doing to support our students who are graduating from the district. It's also a celebration for our families and the love and support and guidance they have given to their graduates throughout the years. So thank you to all the families for partnering with us on the education of your graduate. Secondly, the district will be holding our end of the year gathering for our staff at Lodi High School on Thursday, May 23rd. The morning will start off with a staff breakfast in the high school commons, and then we will move to the Performing Arts Center where we recognize staff for their years of service and recognize our retirees. We invite all board members to attend that morning if you are able to help participate in that event. The district conducted a family engagement survey after spring break this school year. Rob Demuse from School Perceptions will be joining the board virtually in June to share the results of that survey with the board and our community. So just so you know, that's coming up. And finally, I've been touching base with Heather regarding the possibility of having Drew Horwick come back. The board had Drew come in a couple years ago to do board professional development, and just like our staff, we asked them to continue to grow. We asked our board to continue to grow. And when Drew came last time, this is how we ended up with these collective commitments. So the thought would be to have Drew probably come back for a couple sessions with the board. So I will work with him to come up with some dates, and then we will shoot out dates and see what works for board members, and probably look at 2 different times for us to meet and go over some things.
No, I thought it was great. I think it helped us a lot when we did that.
And Sarah Ramish didn't get to do it yet either, so we'd have.
Yeah.
No, it'll be three of our board members haven't done it. Yep, so
Nice
it'll be a good opportunity for us.
Thank you. All right. And my speech tonight isn't as long as graduation, okay? Yeah. This is an exciting time of year for the Lodi School District. We are very close to the end of the school year, so you can definitely feel the anxious excitement in the air. Even those high schoolers are excited, maybe not for the finals, but definitely excited to finish another chapter of their lives. Speaking of chapters, this Sunday is the high school graduation at 1 p.m. I still remember being on the board before experiencing graduation as a board member for the first time. I remember the veteran board members' excitement and almost giddiness explaining how awesome it is to experience graduation from a board member's point of view. I have to admit, I thought they were exaggerating until I experienced it myself. Graduation is obviously wonderful for yourself since you work so hard to be there, but experiencing it as a parent, relative, board member, and a community member might even be better. We all know the accomplishment it is to graduate, and I don't think many high school graduates can grasp the pride and happiness that they bring to all of us celebrating them. Class of 2024, congratulations, and we are all so proud of you. I just want to express my sincere gratitude to my fellow board members for nominating me as board president again. I don't think I will ever be able to express how much the position means to me and how much passion I have for the school board. I hope to make you proud this coming term. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. It's one of those things that should be way longer than a week. So please don't ever hesitate to express your gratitude to the ones that are there for our kids day in and day out.
It's easy to take them for granted, and no one ever minds hearing a simple thank you. With that said, I've always loved a good teacher-parent relationship. A healthy parent-teacher relationship is so incredibly beneficial to the student. I believe it was last month that it was brought up that majority of the discussions about agenda items are done at the committee level. So please never hesitate to sit in on any of our committee meetings as well as board meetings. Our monthly board meetings are pretty fast-paced with a lot of info, where the committee meetings are usually slower paced, a lot more discussion and explanations. We are not able to stream the committee meetings, so all is welcome, and we actually get quite excited when others join us. In addition to that, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to our board members on any concerns, questions, or comments. We don't always have the answers, but we will work to find the answers, address your concerns, and want to hear from you. We work for your students, our district, and our families. We know that the more success our students have, the trickle effect happens, affecting our entire community. We all want what is best for our students, and open communication is the first step to that. Enjoy your long summer, and hope you are able to squeeze in all of your summer activities while getting some rest and relaxation too. It's always great for the kids to get all refreshed and renewed during the summer, so they are all ready and excited for the new school year to start. Like always, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. Have a great summer.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, now we are on to our strategic plan implementation gallery walk, which we already did. We moved that up. Just making sure everybody's paying attention. Our employee health insurance contribution.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. The renewal for the current health insurance option has presented to the district at a 9.9% increase. While we were very happy our renewal was not in the double digits, staff are faced with an increase in the range to 35 to 40% increase if the district provides no additional support for staff members' premium contributions. And just to put that in perspective, there are 48 staff members who take a single insurance plan and 96 staff members who take a family health insurance plan. The Personnel Committee reviewed this information at their May 2nd meeting. The initial conversation centered around increasing the contribution by $200 to a single plan and $425 to a family insurance plan. The committee unanimously moved to the full board with a recommendation for approval increasing the district's health insurance contribution by $150,000, which translated into a $600 increase for a single plan and a $1,200 increase for the family plan. This was a long discussion at the Personnel Committee.
Very long discussion, yeah. And we had
Al Yeager from
Al
USI.
Yeager, thank you, to answer all the questions. We peppered him with a lot of questions. It was a long discussion. It kept going back and forth and on how much, and I think you came down with a good assessment at the very end of where do you want to invest money, and it is in teachers and staff, because without them, nothing else happens. It's up to Brent and Vince to find the money, though.
I looked in my drawer, there's none in my office.
It's not in there.
Just candy.
Well, for
There's candy
people
there.
that weren't able to attend the meeting, 50,000 of that 150,000 was built into the referendum
Right.
funds. So we have asked Brent, we at the committee level and now at the board level, asked Vince and Brent to find another $100,000 because the amount of increase that the staff was going to see on a monthly amount was significant. So we had a lot of staff, teachers there. We had public input, which is uncommon at a committee meeting, and they expressed their concerns, and the three of us on the committee decided to act on it in the best way we thought possible. So that was the easy part. Now the hard part is where do we find the money, but we'll find it.
Well, and the piece of it when we talk about that is it's not $100,000 next year. It's $100,000 moving forward. It's an ongoing cost. So like sometimes we talk about a one-time cost. Like later we're going to talk about doing some stuff with the weight room. That's a one-time cost. You do it, you spend it. We put something towards salaries or towards insurance. That moves into an ongoing cost that just keeps paying forward. It's $100,000 every year moving forward. And again, looking at where our compensation is and looking at a total compensation package, I understand exactly why the committee did what they did. And if you're going to make an investment, staff is where to make the investment in.
I move to approve increasing the district's contribution to the current health plan by $600 for a single plan and $1,200 for a family plan.
I'll second that.
Motion by Scott, second by Terry. Any more discussion?
We had this conversation with the next agenda item, the employee health insurance, and so the two go together very well. So it's not one thing, it's the next thing too.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I mean, I'm all in favor 100% of, you know, supporting, the staff so that they are not taking the brunt of this increase, because even these rates are, I'm sure, difficult for some people to cover. So I'm just, I guess when you say we'll find the money, like, are we sure we have it? If we vote in favor of this.
Well, bottom line, it'll end up, it adds to a referendum cost.
Okay.
When you talk $100,000, it's the way to look at our budget, right? Talking about $100, talking about $100,000. 80% of that is staff. So at some point, it's gonna come from staff, like either a position not being refilled or positions being reduced or things like that. 80% of that will come from that perspective. So we will have to continue to look at that. That's the difficult nature of what we have to do. Right now, can we handle it? Yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of the referendum. State funding was beneficial this past year. It's, as we get closer to the end of this referendum, we will be now looking in the deficit budgets and moving forward. But.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. All right, we have our employee health insurance.
All right, so we got done talking about, right, we've been exploring the cost of our health insurance premium. So we put together a committee to look at our health insurance overall. And this focus group spent the fall, early winter, looking at our health insurance, did some surveys, and gave us feedback about the insurance plan that we have, and really came back that our staff really liked the providers that we have and didn't want to change that. So then we started looking at what our area schools are doing, because we knew that there was a potential that we were going to have a significant increase. So one of the things we've seen other districts do is to help offset that premium is to go to a more high deductible plan. So right now our plan has a $500 deductible for single, $1,000 for family, or per person per family. And looking at a high deductible, which is a $6,000 high deductible plan, which really shrinks the premium, right? But exposes our staff to a little bit more. But the idea behind that then is you come back in with a health savings account in the district with the premium savings the district makes. We'll invest money into a health savings account to, again, limit the exposure to staff to, again, that 500 to 1,000. So the idea behind it is, our insurance consultant likes to say, is we're paying our staff versus paying the insurance company. So that money will go into a health savings account. That is their money, and instead of being the district's money. So then they use it to offset deductibles, costs that they have, up to that certain cost, and then once they get their deductible, it's met. So we went through a lot of conversation about that. That committee came back together. They recommended that we give this as an option, so that we, instead of just asking, everybody has to do this, it's like we still have our same plan, you have a lot higher premiums, or you can move to this plan and use the health savings account. So we're asking the board to allow us to have these health savings plan accounts and high deductible plan, and adding that to our plans.
So there'd be three choices: the HMO, the point of service, and then the high deductible.
There's an HMO point of service in both plans. So there's two plans: HMO point of service.
Each was a high deductible.
Yeah, and then a HMO point of service with just a $500,000 deductible. So two different plans, but there's two plans within each plan.
There was a lot of discussion, so it was a little overwhelming, so
It's not taking away anything that's currently there, it's just adding
It's an option
to it.
And that's
So
what
now
they,
it's basically, it's a new option that staff can decide if it's appropriate for them. But it's a potential way for them to save money on their
yeah.
premiums, if they believe it works for them and their family.
For the health savings account, for the first year that an employee signs up for that, because you'd be paying in monthly, right, for the HSA? So
It's quarter, the district's gonna pay quarterly. That's what it says.
quarterly, can the employee access that right away or only as it's being put in there?
So the employee can only access the amount of money in there, that's in there. So that's one of the concerns, right? So our employees talk about, like, if I have a qualifying event that happens, like, the district has just put that quarter in, and now I have something that costs me $5,000. But one of the conversations we had, our consultant actually talked about the process when his first year he was on an HSA plan, how that happened to him. One of his family members had an issue, and then they worked with the hospital and had a payment plan that went exactly with that, which worked out very well. The bigger issues, probably pharmacy. Most of your healthcare providers work with a payment plan. Pharmacy, they're probably not unless you pay for it. Now, at some point, you will get that money, right? But you'll have to come up with it. So there's that concern. But from the district's perspective, right, for two reasons, the district's not gonna put $5,000 into an HSA on September 1st. One is a cash flow issue, right? We don't have all that money coming in from the state that comes in throughout the year, so we can't do it. Secondly, once I place that money into your account, it is yours as an employee. So say, Teresa, you're an employee of our district. On September 1st, I put $5,000 in an account. September 2nd, you hand me a letter of resignation. That $5,000 is yours. I don't get it back as a district. So it's not a good move for the district to do that. So we spread it out, but that's part of and part of us working through educating our staff about that.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Yep.
They do the exact same thing at MATC.
Yep.
It's just really making sure people understand what that
I
process
think
is gonna be.
the staff will have access to that
This
video.
we'll do this brain shark, we get sent out to the staff, and then there will be virtual meetings that they can attend. The nice thing about having that video is you can sit down and watch it with your spouse or whoever else is taking insurance with you versus trying to sit in a meeting and then try to come back and explain it, and they ask a question, and you're like, and you can rewind it, right? Like, oh, wait a minute, what did they say?
Yeah.
Let's go back, and you can watch it a few times, and then you can, if you still have some questions, there's a couple of meetings that you can then come to and ask those questions of our consultants as well before you need to make that decision.
And then there's one piece missing from this high deductible plan, and that's the walk-in clinic that other places have. They're big enough that they have a clinic with a PA and a nurse that's assigned to just the staff. And the staff can get in there with quick access, and it just makes, without engaging anybody, they just go in. And that makes it super easy to get care when you're on this high deductible plan, which we don't have yet in our area.
No, and there's, again, working with our consultant, we're working on multiple things, right? More of a wellness plan, right? Do more wellness, so we have people accessing primary care physicians more, right, and helping do that, so. And then secondly, looking at, is there a possibility of some sort of clinic model, right? We're just not big enough to do it by ourselves. If you join with another district, where's that going to be? And is it close enough that you're gonna be convenient versus right now, right, 3 of our schools can almost go across the street to a clinic.
Yeah.
So the question, can we work with a software hospital on something like that? That's something that we will continue to work through over the next couple of years to try to, again, provide for our staff and support our staff, because that's what our insurance is for, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, as a district, we wanna mitigate our expenses, just like our staff, but we also wanna make sure we're taking care of our staff and they have insurance from when they need it. And, but also if we can provide some things that helps prevent the things, right?
Yeah.
It's better for them long-term, and it's better for us long-term, because they're then in the classroom or in their position doing what they need to do, and it saves both of us money.
I had a question. Does the district offer, I know a job I had in the past if you didn't take the insurance, for example, let's say you have a spouse or, you know, family member that has it already, then they would give you like an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a year onto your salary, because it's still saving them a ton of money by not paying for your insurance. I just wonder if we offer anything like that. No? What's that?
Nope.
No, I just wondered, I mean.
$500. We offer like, it's $500. In lieu of insurance.
Oh, yeah, we do it in lieu of insurance.
In lieu of
Okay,
insurance.
yeah,
We
sorry,
offer for
that's the
staff
word I was looking for, yeah.
In lieu of insurance.
You got me confused and mixed up when you said you put it on your spouse's salary, et cetera.
Oh, did I? Okay, I meant if like you have someone else that you're on their insurance and then you don't need it.
We do it in lieu of 500. I think it's, we haven't found that
It's not really,
a lot of people, either you take the insurance or you don't.
yeah.
Right, so yeah, we do give $500. We don't
Okay.
get any more than that.
I move to approve a high deductible health insurance plan with a $2,500 single plan and a $5,000 family plan annual contribution, a district-sponsored health savings account, HSA.
And I'll second that.
Motion by Scott, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 6-0. All right, our high school weight room upgrades.
So in December, the Facility and Finance Committee meeting, the committee asked the administration to provide more information about the current status of the wrestling room and the weight room at the high school. So we had Michelle Poles, K-12 department chair and FIA teacher, Dave Poles, head football coach and track coach, and weight room supervisor, Sue Mefford, our AD and physical education teacher, and Cody Enris, wrestling coach, joined the committee at the January meeting, and we toured the facilities, our athletic facilities at the high school. The committee members asked the staff in attendance to put together information regarding potential weight room upgrades. The staff met and went through a process of identifying needs, items they categorized as needs, wants, and dreams. That information was put together in a document with those items listed in order of priority. Information was shared with the Facility and Finance Committee members who've been working to set aside potential funds for this project. Facility and Finance Committee unanimously moved the items to the full board recommendation approved for all the items on the needs section of the weight room document. So there's a document in there that has all the different things that they're looking at in order of priority, right? A light switch, some of it we're gonna do ourselves, like a light switch, some new lighting, flooring is a really big item, but then other equipment as well. The district is still kind of working on finalizing a couple of those bids. As you saw, it's changed, there are a couple $1,000s changed just this morning. And so we're also working with some of our booster clubs to like help offset some of those costs as well, if we can have them help with that cost. But
That would be awesome.
but the Facility and Finance Committee moved to the full board recommendation to approve everything on the needs list.
I make a motion to move to approve the items in the needs section of the weight room recommendations to the document.
And I'll second.
All right. Motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion?
What happened to the wants? Is there a reason that it was just the needs and not the wants? Because what I recall from discussions is we had a certain amount of ESSER funds that we intended to use for this, and the needs is less than what the ESSER funds amounts were. So what was the rationale behind not pursuing the wants?
I think that part of it is what you might think of as a want, you and I would classify as a need. And so a lot of those, when we saw that space, the needs on our lists was very high, and those are all covered. So if you look at what the wants are, they're very different.
But why, am I correct in understanding that these things that are highlighted, I'm looking at this right now, Adam, the chart with the yellow, are they not getting what's highlighted in yellow under the wants?
Those were the needs. The yellow are the needs, right?
No, if you look at the very
There's needs and then there's
first, it
wants.
says
It's highlighted
needs,
both.
and then there are the tables, and then as you keep scrolling down, it says wants. And then under wants, there are things that are highlighted in yellow. So what we're doing tonight does that include getting any of these
No, not the second,
wants?
not that page, no.
No,
Okay,
everything that was recommended by the committee is in the needs list. The wants list, anything that's highlighted in yellow, so let me step it back up. So anything that's listed in a square is, the committee went and looked at bids, like they looked at different products. So you may see, so for example, like the flooring, they have a couple, for new benches, they had 3 different models that they looked at, and whatever's highlighted in yellow is the one they would recommend we get if we purchase that. So that's what yellow is highlighted. So if you get to the wants list, for example, in the first list, there's a couple different types of new sets of rubber dumbbells. The ones they have in yellow are ones, if the board would choose to purchase them, they would recommend the ones that are in yellow. Those are all different bids. There's 3 different bids.
Right, so that's what my question is what in the discussion made you decide to not say, yes, let's,
To the
for
wants.
example, under the wants, let's not do the new set of rubber dumbbells and rack, and let's not do the 9 new weight racks?
I think
Well, I
from
guess
the,
I see the
yeah, that
total
can-
cost for part of that, but our ESSER funds that we had were more than
More than
the 50.
yeah, there's 96,000.
And if you add up the needs and the wants, that total is right around what the ESSER funds were at. So why not the wants and the needs is the question. And I know Sarah's not here, but you two and Sarah were
I
the
would
ones
argue
that
there's
came
a
up with that.
huge bunch of other wants in the rest of the district that are gonna, can't do everything.
Yeah, so I think that was one of the conversations, right? So we had, Sue was there, Sue and Joe came, and they shared, when they talked to the group that I mentioned, right, they put this together, they felt that the needs were what they really needed. The wants were above and beyond what they need at this point. And they know that there's other needs in the district, right? And so like, for example, we're gonna talk later about a pool assessment that we're gonna do. There are gonna be some needs in there as well. So looking at funding wise.
Just trying to save.
Just trying to be cognizant of what they really need. Like, for example, there's racks or 9 new weight racks. The team felt that the weight racks that we have are are fine. Like, that they do the job. Could we take them out and sandblast them maybe and repaint them? Maybe, but otherwise they are in good physical shape. There's no reason that they feel like they needed to replace them.
Instead of spending $42,000 on new ones.
So that was the conversation that
When
happened.
I was on that committee and I walked through and took the tour that we all took, in my mind, I was under the thought that those remaining ESSER funds were gonna be put into the weight room. That was never discussed. I get that. I'm just saying that was in my mind. So that's where these questions are coming from. I thought that we, again, in my mind, there were those ESSER funds, and we were gonna use those ESSER funds to update the weight room as much as we could with that amount of money. That's just what's prompting the question.
Great.
So I understand what you're saying, that, yeah, there are other needs in the district that you thought took precedent over the wants from the, what the group put forward that put these,
Also,
this
their
information.
recommendation was just do this top part for sure. And then the wants were a secondary thing.
How are these funds that you're referring to, I mean, what do
They
they
came
need
from
to be
COVID.
utilized for?
So, and we did, the Facility and Finance Committee did talk about this quite a bit. They, when we talked about ESSER funds, like we had our ESSER funds and they were looking at potentially spending them on the weight room. We had about $96,000 left, but two things. One, we wanted to get them that money into the district, so it came to our coffers. We have to spend it by September 24th. We really want it spent in this fiscal year for auditing purposes. It just helps, makes everything cleaner. Plus, if we bring that money into our system, we have it and we collect interest on it versus the state having that money. So at the last board meeting, at Facility Finance Committee meeting prior to this last one and the last board meeting, the board decided to take the remaining ESSER funds and pay for substitute teachers for throughout this year, which freed up that money to then be kind of set aside for whatever we wanted to do with it. And Scott is right, that is one of the things that they were talking about doing it with it. Kind of, as I said, when we first started that, the committee has been kind of setting aside some money to do that project. And there was about a little over $96,000.
Just to know what, like, what the restrictions were on it as far as, do you have to, like, when you covered it now? Okay.
All right.
Need some help.
Just little
Technical
technical
difficulties, the longer the meeting, the better the computer.
There.
Just a note about that, typically you can't do that because there's some planting rules in
Right.
place. This is ESSER, there's one where it
Okay.
just didn't come with that, so that's not a normal thing.
Yeah.
This is not normal at all for districts. Usually you can't do any of that, but you have the opportunity.
Great, thank you.
Well, that was my one concern when we had the meeting and we decided to move those ESSER funds into the account you're talking about, that they were gonna get lost in the shuffle to a certain degree. But again,
Yeah, I don't think they were lost in the shuffle. I think this is just where we talked about what we was used, because I
think
haven't
we would
agreed.
have been more, I think that the committee would have potentially been more inclined to use them on the entirety of this weight room if they were sitting in the ESSER account, needed to be used by September as opposed to the way they were moved. I completely understand why they were. I'm not
And I was
finding any
just-
fault with that, I'm just making a
I
point.
sat in for some of that, and I guess my impression, and I haven't been full, like, part of the whole conversation, so I'm not on the committee, but it seemed like you guys, Joe and Sue, kind of talked like they almost went through that again, like that big one, the want of the 40, what is it, the $42,000 one. I feel like you guys kind of said, you know what, we actually probably could still be okay with this, is kind of, I think that's what I got out of the conversation, I could be wrong. But the whole, like, maybe just taking it down and repainting it and kind of,
It's
I know you
definitely
and I
a
are
lot.
not the experts, because.
So the most expensive thing there is what you're talking about. and
Yeah.
They are structurally sound. It's definitely a want, it's not a need.
Okay.
They can still use them. We just talked about, or Vince mentioned it, about possibly painting them and doing some things with them to look a little bit more attractive in a weight room.
Yeah.
But it's not something that we need to replace right now.
Okay, and that, I mean, that's just a little bit, I wasn't part of everything, but that's kind of just what I got out of it, but, I guess just something to keep tabs on, maybe.
I appreciate the work that everybody did, and to a point, you could argue that these are all wants. But again, I understand the work that was done, and I think that the weight room will get a significantly needed facelift and upgrade in the equipment, so I'm glad we could do that.
And thank you to whoever is fixing those benches, that we don't have to.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That saved a lot.
Oh, yeah, we got a pretty good deal.
So for the racks, do we have sandblasting equipment and painting equipment within the
In-house?
school district? Yeah.
Yes.
We work with some companies at MATC that practically do it for free.
Come on.
I will hook them up. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I'll contact them.
Okay, awesome.
Especially if that worked for school.
Yeah, they're really good.
I make a motion to move.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I
we
think this was
made
just
that motion.
discussion.
So,
Very animated.
all right,
So we just
so
need
all
to
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. All right. Weight room is gonna look spiffy. All right, pool assessment.
Yeah, so there was some significant work done to clean up the pool deck and pool area in the early 2010s. Just when I became high school principal, which has really served the district well. We feel it's time to take another look at that facility, ensure we stay on top of any issues that might arise due to the chemicals that are used in the pool. It's a very harsh environment to our equipment and our furnishings in the area. A recommendation was made to Facility and Finance Committee to have C.G. Schmidt conduct an assessment of the pool facility in February at a cost of $9,458. That type of assessment typically leads to a facility maintenance plan, which allows the district to make decisions about short-term and long-term maintenance needs of a facility especially one as important to our community as the pool. When this proposal was discussed at the Facility and Finance Committee, they asked the administration to reach out to Badger Swim Pools regarding whether or not they could do an assessment of the pool for a lower cost. Badger Swim Pools recommended the district use someone like C.G. Schmidt to assess the full needs. Badger Swim Pool says we do the pool. C.G. Schmidt will pull us in for that part, but you're also looking at HVAC, you're looking at walls, windows, and all the stuff that's outside their scope. So this came back to the Facility and Finance Committee. They discussed it at their May 1st meeting and unanimously moved to the full board with a recommendation of approval.
I'm glad we asked to find that out. But yeah, I guess that's a good point. There's a lot involved. It's not just the pool.
I move to approve facility assessment of the pool at Lodi High School by C.G. Schmidt as proposed.
I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Oops, I'm sorry. Anyone opposed? Sorry.
Makes it go faster if you don't
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
I don't want to hear from you guys. No, I'm just kidding. All right, branding contract.
Yeah, as part of the current strategic plan, the Board of Education community have engaged administration on doing a branding refresh project. So that's part of our communications plan that we put together, which we'll talk about a little bit later too. It's coming to an end. So a team consisting of Maureen Palmer, Mr. Jelnick, Mr. Richter, myself, interviewed 5 vendors for a brand refresh project. From these initial interviews, 3 vendors were selected for a second round of interviews. We pulled in Adam Steinberg and Sue Mefford into those. So we did interviews, came down to 2 finalists, which Brent and I ended up meeting with a couple more times. Staff of each company presented exceptional abilities, and the district would have benefited from the depth and experience from either company. But really the determining factor really came down to was cost. The Foundry proposal was significantly lower than the other one. The primary reason is Foundry is a one-person company, with Mr. Nathan Chow being that person. A few of his projects include the Wanakee Community School District, Kettle Moraine, Reedsburg, Oconomowoc, and a few others. So the Facility and Finance Committee discussed this at their meeting on May 1st and unanimously moved it to the full board with recommendation of approval.
I'll move to the full board with a recommendation for approval of the Foundry branding proposal.
I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion?
And then the one thing you left out was working with the company. How easy is it for you and you and you and you to work with these people and get things done?
Well, and like you're saying, it's obviously better cost and it's a one-man operation, which
Makes
can
it
be
simpler.
Yeah, I was gonna say communication can be a lot more simpler instead of trying to go through 5 different people, so. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0.
All right.
Communications plan.
Yeah, so the school district of Lodi implemented Pillar 3 of the strategic plan, innovative communication connections. The district engaged in a communications audit in the spring of 2022, which led to the development of a 2-year communication plan, which the board adopted in July of 2022. That 2-year communications plan is coming to an end, so it's time for the district to refresh it. We look at developing a 3-year communications plan that will cover next school year through the 26-27 school year. Initially, part of this work the district was going to do, this was going to be connected with the branding work that we were doing. However, as we worked through that branding process, bid process, became clear it would be more cost effective to separate that communications plan out. And so the district reached out to Patty Lux, who led us through that process 2 years ago, and she's willing to work with the district again in the process. This will be more of a streamlined process than 2 years ago. We won't do an audit, we'll just do, a refresh of our communications plan. So a couple meetings, and develop a 3-year communications plan at a cost of $2,000. Again, we discussed this at our May 1st Facility and Finance Committee meeting, and it was recommended unanimously to the full board for approval.
And she's part of the reason that our communications have gone.
Right, so like if you look at, for example, us having our board reports at the beginning of our board meeting came out of that. Having our what I'll be doing tomorrow, putting together the board summaries that go out to staff.
Yeah.
Looking at the principals all have the same newsletter now.
Yes.
Those type of things came out of that plan. So now I'll be looking at, what have we done out of the first plan, what's been done, what hasn't, and then trying to bringing that same committee back and looking at what's new.
In addition to adding the survey that went out.
Yeah, and so we will also use that information, that we just did a survey with our staff about communications. We will share that information. We will also share the information of the school perception survey that just went out as well, and that will be part of that process as well. So it's just good timing for them all to come together and be pulled into that process.
That's great. And I was on the committee, it was wonderful. It was exciting.
Yeah, so you and Christy McMorris were on that
Right.
committee. So I've reached out to both of you to be on that committee again. And Christy just as a parent, so I will probably reach out to another board member, probably Sarah, I was thinking, because she's brand new to this position, so she has been receiving communication as a parent, as either Teresa or Sarah.
Right.
But like, because, right, she's
Yeah.
just moving into this
Yes.
position, so instead of seeing it from this side,
Yeah.
she's still
Yes.
seeing it more from the other side.
That's right.
But asking her to be a part of
Fresh
that
eyes.
process as well. But for the most part, we're asking pretty much the same group to come back. I have reached out to the town of Lodi, and their chairperson is going to sit on that committee as well. Because one of the reasons Christy was on last time is she was a clerk at the town of Lodi at the time.
Yeah.
And ran the board, so we kind of killed two birds with one stone there, so. But yeah, so we're looking forward to that process. We'll probably do that in June, and hopefully it'll come to the board in either July or August, depending on when we can get people together for these meetings.
I move to engage Patty Laux, to complete a communication plan refresh for School District of Lodi at a cost of $2,000.
Seconded.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Any more discussion?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is this a $2,000 a year?
Well, one time.
No.
It's one time, and then how, I mean, I guess if I'm gonna be in this group, I'll find some of this stuff out, but what's that?
I haven't talked to you
No,
about it.
it's
so-
fine, I'm happy to do it. But, I mean, it seems like a lot for one person for $2,000. Like, is she?
She's pretty amazing.
I mean, it sounds great, but.
Yeah, so
She's coming
Partially because
twice.
she's already done it.
Right,
Yeah.
so
Just coming back.
Okay.
typically, it's not just her, we'll have two meetings. It's all the preparing, pulling all this information, gathering all that data, pulling it all together, bringing it, and then putting it together in a finished product, a plan that comes out. To be honest with you, we took this out to bid 2 years ago. And last time it was probably twice this, because we did two things. We did an audit and a communications plan, so the price really hasn't gone up. But we had bids from like $30,000 to do
I'm
this.
just like,
So
wow.
2,000 was,
Okay.
and.
She's
I think
kind of
we did it-
local though, too,
She
right?
is, she's
Yes.
local in the area, so I thought it went, and again, it was a real usable plan, really step by
Oh, yeah.
step that we've kind of followed.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. Independent auditor approval.
Right, can I turn this one over?
Yep. So the administration is asking that you approve the contract for Clifton, Larson, and Allen, and there is a memo to support the information. Briefly, backdrop is that we, for the last several years, I think since 2015, have used a company called Mr. Miller, Brussel, Eben, and Glaske out of Portage. They did a wonderful job for us.
Catchy.
They worked really well with the district, right, and their cost was extremely reasonable. But they, like all of us and all companies in the world, are feeling the crunch of a labor shortage. So believe it or not, there is a labor shortage with CPAs as well. So they're wrapping up parts of the public sector auditing. I think they still have a couple schools this year, but the information we got back was that they're going to be looking at least downsizing it to minimal, if not terminating it from their business as a whole. I sent an RFP out to the 4 Madison-based or Madison office companies and a couple others in the Milwaukee area. We received 2 back, and those 2 are listed in the memo. One is so booked that they would not be able to fit us into the August 31st, the first report. That one certifies aid, so they would have to catch us after that report, which is kind of a problem, but we could actually submit data without audit certification. Clifton, Larson, and Allen, CLA, they go by, they can fit us into the summer. And they had the more reasonable
still seems very expensive though. I mean, are they doing a year's supply worth of work, or it is just a few months for them?
The services will last probably through the fall until we do our final reporting, which usually ends up by December 1st. That's basically budget reporting. Everybody that I talked to said that this is sort of a going rate depending upon your circumstance. If you have not to downsize, but if you have an actual CPA on staff, the preparation is much different. But now we're talking about Madison, Milwaukee.
Sure. Yeah, we don't have that.
So was our
It's like
previous
an
one
entire salary.
about this same price?
About 17.5.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Whoa.
a huge increase.
Can we have them also, if it's required by DPI,
Yeah,
do they
DPI.
not provide any funding to help schools actually like implement this
They
requirement?
don't. In fact, every one of the administrators here probably has some level of reporting and requirement that is directed by the Department of Public Instruction, as well as the board, and there's typically very little funding that supports that direction.
We're looking at it wrong. We should be happy that two companies
Gave
gave
us
us bids, and we should be happy that one company that we're comfortable with using gave us a bid so much less than the other.
Yeah.
Still twice as much as it was before, though.
But I think Scott's quite right. This is not just Lodi. There was a bunch of schools that this company, because they don't have just, some literally dropped, right? And we were, and it's a service that we have to get done.
Sock Prairie went out 2 years ago and they received one bid back. They were happy.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the alternative way to look at it. Now, it doubled. We should be happy that Solid did. I move to approve the Clifton Larson Allen LLP 3-year proposal for audit services.
I'll second that. Motion by Scott, second by Terry. Any more discussion?
Just could do a lot for the kids with that much money. Sorry.
To just get a report back that says Brent did his job very well.
It's all for.
I mean, that's basically what they say every month.
Yeah, they do. They just tell us that Brent's good. That's all it says on the paper. Brent's good.
One page.
They just have a line and then they just put in the name.
But thanks for looking into it. I know you're getting bids and taking the time.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
It sounds like a 6-0 vote is what that sounds
It
like.
is.
Motion passes
Barely.
6-0.
Give me a 0.5.
That you cannot do on the board.
Okay, our faculty handbooks.
Yeah, so we've had our student handbooks come and faculty handbooks from a couple of our buildings. These are the other two, the middle school and high school faculty handbooks. Getting ready for next year, so we recommend approval for both of these.
I make a motion to approve recommended 2024-2025 revisions and changes to the middle school and high school faculty handbooks.
I'll second. Yes, thank you. Go. Go, go.
Motion by Adam, second by Teresa. Any more discussion? Thank you guys for taking the time. Even, I know Vince said that Joe was really pressed for time on this with the graduation and everything, so thanks for doing all that, you guys, Derek. And anyone else that does it too, probably those administrative, right, assistants. I'm sure they help too. Anyways, thank you. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Our pupil non-discrimination report.
So speaking of a lot of work,
Yes.
Yeah.
This looked like a lot of
every
work.
5 years, we have to do a pupil non-discrimination report. So I'm gonna turn this over to the person who did all the work. Andrea Schrader.
Thank you. So Wisconsin Admin Code PI 9.06 requires school boards to evaluate the status of non-discrimination and equality of educational opportunities in the school district at least every 5 years. And those get reported to the Department of Public Instruction. So I kind of want to talk about the process that went into doing this, and then speak to the reports and especially answer any questions if you have them. So this started many, many months ago, and that's with collecting data. I want to give a shout out to Chris Carls, who is an admin assistant here in district office, who did a lot of help with data collection. But we're looking at a lot of different areas when we're speaking about this report. So a couple to highlight would be our overall student enrollment, different aspects of discipline, scholarships, athletics, and enrollment in different courses. So kind of going on at the same time, we did a lot of reviewing of the policies and procedures here within the school district, and there's very specific things that the report had me look for and make sure that we have them in place, so that we have those non-discrimination policies, that they include all of the protected classes, that there are policies specific to harassment, that the policies are published annually in a Class 1 legal notice, that the procedures have really specific timelines that we need to abide by when we're going through any sort of grievance procedure process, that complaint procedure specifically has a complainant to be notified by the right of appeal. So again, there's timelines about those things which are included in our policies, and non-discrimination statement as part of our pupil and staff handbooks, and that our policies contain the contact information of which employee in our school district is designated to receive these complaints when we get them. So after reviewing all of those pieces, all aspects of these indicators are present within our policies. The next part of this process was really taking the data, displaying the information, and looking for any discrepancies. So for the purposes of this report, there are kind of two important pieces to keep in mind. So first, a cell size of 5 or lower should be kept confidential. And what this means for us is that any student group data that encompasses 5% or lower of our total student enrollment should not be disaggregated because it can breach confidentiality. So for Lodi, the groups that were large enough included males, females, students with disabilities, and race. Second piece to keep in mind as we're thinking about these numbers is that when we're looking for discrepancies, a significant discrepancy is defined as 5% or higher, meaning that there is at least a 5% difference between the student group and whatever measure we're analyzing for that specific point. So all of our significant discrepancies are found and they are outlined in the report for you to view. After the data is compiled and ready to review, it's shared with various groups in kind of like a focus group situation. So some groups included the administrative team, the athletic director, the pupil service team, a student group, and a parent guardian group. The role of these groups is to determine the trends and patterns within the data and reflect on the strategies to improve various aspects of any areas that we have discrepancies in. We're kind of at the step now where we are seeking board acknowledgement and approval for this report. And then there's 2 more steps after this. So first, all of the information from the focus groups will be brought back to our administrative team for further review and discussion during our summer administrative retreat. And secondly, we will be hosting 2 forums that will be open to the community, parents, and staff to look at the data and seek input, and those will take place this summer.
Wow, that's a lot.
That was a lot.
Thank you.
So I'm not so Adria presented to a student group and I happened to be there, and so I got a different presentation on this and a more in-depth presentation. And now seeing this presentation, I'm not sure that they are necessarily going to understand the impact of this there's a lot of data here and a lot of tables and a lot of, I'm just not sure it's going to sink in. What needs the ramifications that need to be implemented are going to sink in.
So the pieces that you might be talking about are all in the report when it talks about the discrepancies that we see here within our student groups.
Right, but you also have recommendations in here on how to fix this thing and things that should be implemented, and I just, if you don't see, if you see a bunch of numbers and you're like, okay, well, the recommendation is to fix this, but you don't see that we're missing 60% of our students in this one area, right? Or 40% of our students in this area. You don't realize how big the impact is.
It
That's
does
what I'm
spell
saying.
it out though.
It does, but I don't think that it's to the level it needs to be, is what I'm trying to say. And I talked to you about this a little bit, and can I work with you over the summer to try to make this more impactful and that, to bring out what is impactful in it, to make it more explicit?
Do you think it would be a good idea to go through the areas of discrepancy, Adam?
For sure, yeah, oh, for sure.
So I'm just looking at the report for those, and when we start in the enrollment trends, so there's a section in the summary below the tables that talks about all of our areas of discrepancy. So as you can see, they're all kind of listed in the same sort of format. So the first one, says male students encompass 52% of our total population. However, 40% of male students participate in AP or honors classes. And all of them are kind of gonna follow that same sort of pattern where it's showing the overall student group size and then however many students are participating in whichever one of these measures that we're looking at. So again, we're thinking about AP and honors classes. We're thinking about more of our remedial English and math classes in this section, and also participation in band and choir.
What jumped out at me immediately was with these AP and honors classes, how the number of students with disabilities, 5 years ago it was 23 students and now it's 4, so I'm just wondering, just out of curiosity, is there any explanation for that? Is it that they're choosing not to take these classes, or is there not an easy answer? I don't know.
I would think there's not an easy answer, right? It's, for us, that's the idea behind this whole thing, right? Is for us to take this information and then take it through our administrative team and then look at digging into different pieces of this data a little further and then determining areas that we need to focus on to explore. Is that an area that we need to explore more and do some work in making sure that our students with disabilities have access to those types of courses? Right? So that I think is the next step, is taking this data and then doing something with it.
Well, what is required of the district now that you've, gone through this process? What then happens with this? And, does it impact funding in some ways? It's my first board meeting, so I'm just trying to kind of get the lay of the land here.
Nothing right now, right?
Okay.
So the thing that we have to do is do this evaluation, right? We have to do a non-discrimination report. As I talked to DPI the other day, I think I shared this 80-year opening up DPI, we talked about how difficult this is. And DPI is kind of like, if you don't want to do it, you do it. You don't have to do it until you get audited, right? Until something happens and you don't have this in place, then you're in trouble, right? But there's no, DPI police are not going to come and look at this, right? It's for our information to walk through and then to use this information to drive areas of improvement if we see that there needs to be improvement in those areas, right? We can talk about our males in our honors classes and things of that nature. We also look at the number, one of the things that this district has also we've been pushing the last couple of years is career and technical education, right? So there's only, you only take a certain number of classes. So it's then looking at that, is that the reason? Or is that just because we think that's the reason? Is it not, right? We have to, so that's something for us to dig into. So it just provides us really with information to do more, dig. It highlights a discrepancy, oh, that may be something we want to look at that doesn't make sense to me. Some of the ones that are discrepant totally make sense to me. Yep, I understand how that is.
We don't get funds to do it.
So there's other ones that we need to look at that a little bit more, like the one you mentioned. I think we need to look at it a little bit more.
Thanks. That's a lot of info. Thank you, guys.
I move to approve the pupil non-discrimination report as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion by Scott, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Adria, thank you for all of that. That's-
Yes.
And Adam, were you part of this too?
No, I just got a
Oh, you weren't,
report,
okay.
that's all.
Okay.
She did all
That's
the work,
a
they did
lot.
all the work.
All right, policy, first reading.
Yeah, so the policy committee met and reviewed and unanimously moved to the full board with recommendation approval of the policy revisions listed, which are a result of a recent Neola update. So we went through that. If you remember, our policy committee decided they wanted to meet one more time just
There's a
before.
lot of policies here.
Yeah,
There are,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we've got a couple,
We
a
did. We
year and a
got it
half
done,
worth
though.
of updates, right? So these are the updates, so the board does not have to act on any of these, right? It's a first read, it's just a chance to look at them. If you have questions, you can always kick them back to the policy committee.
Evening reading.
But they were all unanimously moved to the board.
But now, excuse me, now these ones that are in first read will show up next month as a second,
They will show up the next month as a second read.
whereas we weren't doing that before.
Correct.
Now, that's second reading.
And then as we talk about that, right, we'll move into the second read. So for the first time in a long time, we have second read policies, because we were just holding off. So these policies were all brought forward through the committee, and then went through the board for a first read at the last board meeting. And then, so we are ready to approve these, but these will start and go into effect, so July 1st, 2024, with the rest of Neola policies. So we would be looking for someone to make a motion.
I move to approve the administrative guidelines and policy changes as recommended, which will go into effect on July 1st of 2024.
I'll second it.
Motion by Adam, second by Teresa. I actually do have something to bring up. I don't know if it would be under 142.1. But I would like, and like I said, I don't know if it would be under that policy or something, but I did not like, sorry for calling you guys out, I did not like the position that Teresa and Sarah were in this past election.
You're saying that, it is a little stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't, that concerns me if we start having politics that important in this boardroom. And I didn't like that you guys were put in that position when they, you know, somebody reached out to them from a particular, party. And I get it, you wanna be here, and so you know, and I want somehow to have in our, and I know there's a lot of gray area when it comes to that, because everything else on the ballot is pretty political, but when it comes to school boards, and even, in my opinion, I don't really, I mean, not that I don't care what other school boards do, but Lodi, I would like it to be very firm that you cannot be backed by a political party, because really, yes, politics come into everything in our life, but 98% of the decisions in here, you're not gonna go with your necessary political party. Because obviously, as our sign says, it's for the kids, so it has nothing to do with that. So I think we just need to have something in there somehow.
Yeah, so what I would do is two things. I can bring back to the policy committee next time we meet. I can reach out to Neola and probably our legal counsel, because my question is legality of us talking to what we can make candidates do, right?
I know,
And not
I
even
know
on the
it's a
board.
messy
more of a-
situation, it just really scares me.
Yeah, I just don't what the legal aspect is.
Yeah.
So I totally understand where you're coming
Yeah.
from, and we'll have to explore what that
No, I think
option
that's-
Because
is.
if you actually read this policy doesn't have anything to do with
I
it.
know, I just saw the electoral
Yeah.
process and I thought, I don't know if it's
No.
even under there, and that's why I
It's
just wanna
about
bring it
how
up,
to do
because
it.
I just love how we have all different walks of life up here, and it scares me if all of a sudden it's like, you know, political, then it really scares me for our district, and I just want, and I'm not saying a political person can't be in here, like if we did have somebody that has run for a different office, or, you know, that's fine, but I just, as far as running for this board, I want all of that left out. And I just, it
think if
stressed
that-
me out watching everything happen, and I knew the position that you guys were in, and it just, the whole situation just like made me very uncomfortable, and I hated it, so I don't want it to happen again.
I don't know, that would be great, Because if everybody knew ahead of time,
Yes.
because I wasn't gonna say no
Yeah.
when I knew other people, not just Sarah.
Yeah.
Other people were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just not saying out loud they were doing the same thing. Sarah and I were very honest.
No, I know
about
that
it.
there's, and all parties are guilty, and, you know, and that's the thing, I mean,
It would be a level playing field.
political parties love to get their hands on anything they can get into, and I want that to stay out of here. So
I wonder if it's
both-
actually
both sides,
going
all
to end
sides.
up being a policy thing, or if there's some other way to handle it, because I suspect that legal is not gonna say it's great to put that into a policy.
There's no way they're gonna.
They won't do that, but there might be some other ways that we can,
Something,
right,
yeah.
I mean,
just
it's
think
been
it's a good
brought up.
discussion.
Right,
And that's why, I mean,
well,
when
when
we
you come in
discuss
and
it, I
sign
plan
up,
to-
it could be discussed.
yeah. So when it's
Also-
on that agenda, anybody that, you know, has some insight or ways, we wanna hear from it, because I just think it's something that needs to be
Well,
discussed.
there's also layers to consider too, because, I mean, I think, and this, we don't have like hours to discuss this, but I will say that there's been a lot of things on social media, things said to the effect that have blown things way out of proportion, to the extent that, like, you know, myself, for example, took all this money and did all these things, which is not true. In fact, I was mailed multiple checks by different organizations, and I actually wrote back thank you notes and mailed the money back. I did not cash any checks. I did receive in-kind donations of some postcards that were mailed on my behalf. Basically just stating that they felt that I, you know, would represent what these groups cared about, which was supporting teachers and kids, and, you know, making decisions that would, you know, have safe infrastructure for the
Yeah.
school district. Nothing that I don't think anybody in this room, like, can't get behind, but I understand that, you know, still having it attached to an organization that may, you know, has a political element to it rubs some people the wrong way, and, so I just think that there's, you know, like, if, I would be open to, even though I did receive some in-kind donations, I'm open to what you're discussing. I just think that, you know, I don't know if it can be 100% all or nothing, maybe that's the simplest way to handle it, but there are layers to what,
There are,
like,
and
is
I
out
want
available.
anybody listening,
Yeah.
that this has to do with every single political party. I'm not calling out anybody. You know, I wouldn't want, the way that I vote out of this boardroom on a ballot, I would not want to be tied to that with this board.
Right.
Because, first of all, I don't wanna feel obligated to that political party. And I am not straight, when it comes to kids, there's no way that you can be a certain way. So that's why I just feel like, I just think it's a great discussion. I know it's gonna be messy and it's gonna be complicated, but I just think at least we need to talk about it and see if we can do something. Just because then, from now on, we would just have,
Yeah, let me do some more research on it.
okay.
Yeah, is there,
I don't-
this was the biggest thing for me, like a list of mailing addresses of people in the district? Like, I don't know where to find that, but that's what I got from, that was my in-kind donation, was a list of people in the district with their addresses that you could send out a postcard. So if we had something like that, that would take a huge,
Yeah. Yeah, I just think
I
it's
mean, they
something
didn't
that
even pay
we-
for the postcards for me. I had to pay for the mailing list.
Okay. Yeah, so
If
just
that
stuff, I just think
makes
it's, you know, there isn't a lot of, I just think it's a lot of gray area. And I just think it'd be great to clear it up on all ends of it, so. So I don't know if we have to take something back, or we can approve these and we'll just move forward and talk about that at a
I would
different
approve them and
time.
then we'll take that forward.
Well, I would approve this,
Fight for the
because that
state
policy doesn't really have
Fight what?
anything to do
Sounds
with.
like a fight for the state level.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing though, you look it up and it says it's up to the board members, or it's up to the district. And that's why I thought, well, I want Loda to be known as, keep your politics out of here, is kind of what my
well,
feeling
and then,
is.
but I think as Vince was saying, we could, because if you read this policy particularly, it isn't really addressing that, it's addressing.
Yeah, and that's why I think
So we could still go along with
yes,
them.
yep, we'll do that,
Yeah.
and then like Vince said, he'll just reach out, and
Which is
then
actually
it'll
more
come up
of a-
another time.
Yeah,
but, okay.
Heather, what you want, the unfortunate reality is that it's not possible. Every one of us on this board is viewed by a political party as either they think we support them or we don't. We're on one side of the fence or the other. And it's people that, from a political party that support us, and it's people from a political party that are opposed to us that feel that way. All we can do as board members is, when we're here, try to rise above party politics, maybe not lead the community, but show the community that people from different backgrounds can work together for common interest. But what you want, to Vince's point initially, you can't enforce that. If a candidate running in the next election cycle decides they want to be backed by a political party, they can decide to be backed by a political party. There's not a darn thing that the school board or you as the president
Well, I'd like to hear from legal
are able to
counsel,
do about
and
it.
if nothing else, then if we can't actually do a policy, then let's do some guidelines or something, and then people will see it out there and hope that majority of our candidates will do the high road.
In my
So-
opinion, it's the actions and it's what people see when they tune into these meetings or talk about these meetings, how we all interact with one another. Is what we have control over.
Yeah, but I just feel like if there's at least some guidelines, I think that wouldn't hurt. And if,
But
you know,
what guidelines and how can you mandate somebody who's not on the school board follow?
So when you're
Well, that's what
running,
I'm saying.
so when you're running for the board and you just come and file your candidacy and you're new, that it might just be said, you know, it's probably easier or better if you stay away from having political
here's some
groups
suggestions. like-
financially backing you. These
Yeah.
are suggestions.
And to be honest, if the public
Be
knows
interested
the
to hear what
guidelines.
Vince finds out, but I
Yeah,
just
and
don't
and
see
if
how
the
that can
community
happen.
knows the suggestions or guidelines, and all of a sudden, this candidate is kind of saying, I don't really care, I'm gonna do what I want, then at least it's a known thing, like, okay, well, the district asked you to not do that, and you're still doing it. I mean, you know, right now, there's just nothing, you know, it's people's opinions, so I just think it's something we can talk about. Okay, so we do have a motion on the table, do we?
No, we don't.
I move to approve the administrative
do.
guidelines and policy
No.
changes.
Adam-
Yeah, you did
Adam
it.
did it.
Adam
Adam
did
did
it.
it.
Adam
I
did it.
seconded it.
Teresa.
Teresa seconded.
Teresa.
Thank you.
Steinberg, hey.
No, Steinberg Valencia.
It was
Doesn't matter.
Teresa.
That's
That's
okay. Teresa, I apologize.
You know, it's okay. They obviously, they were fighting over them earlier,
Yeah, they
so.
were. Okay.
Okay, so any more discussion on these? The other subject that I brought up. Okay? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0.
Can I make a suggestion that we send our administrative team home and we send our student rep home? because
Yes.
They got school tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It's getting a little late, isn't it?
yes, go ahead, guys.
We can send our administrative team home too.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
but Joe. Joe has to stay.
No, please,
I know. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
say hello to your pillows for me.
Yeah. All right. So now we are up to gifts and donations. Yep, the Ice Age. Sage Alliance.
I move to accept with great gratitude the donation from the Ice Age Trail Alliance of $1,200 to be distributed among summer Saunters, primary school hiking club, middle school trail trekkers, and high school hiking club.
I second that.
Good job, Sarah.
Thank you. You seconded?
Yeah, Sarah Rip is seconding it.
All right. Okay, motion by Adam, second by Sarah Rip.
There you go.
Any more discussion?
Now I'm a real member of the board.
No, you didn't. You broke the ice.
It's always that first one is nerve-wracking.
Teresa had encouraged me, but.
See, I don't have to really even do it because I'm the president, so it's, anyways, any more discussion?
No.
Okay, motion by Adam, second by Sarah Rip. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you for the donation. Okay, now we have our committee reports. So if I can, personnel. Who is our, I have to know these people now. Who is our?
CISA
Sorry, CISA 5, I'm sorry.
So CISA 5
Yes.
didn't meet at the beginning of the month, they meet on Thursday, and we'll be able to go.
Oh, this week they do? Okay. Co-curricular items or report.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we
You're
do.
up.
Here we go, baseball. The Lodi baseball team is currently 11-8 with a conference record of 2-5. Conference wins have come against Columbus and Lake Mills. This past Friday, the baseball team held youth night, and on Saturday held senior day, coming away with an 8-4 win over Evansville. They host Poynette tomorrow night, trail to Poynette on Thursday, and host Mount Horeb on Friday to round out the regular season. Softball, Lodi softball team is currently 11-6 with a conference record of 2-5. Big wins this season included beating Poynette 2-0 on Poynette's home field. Lodi will host their final regular season game of the season tomorrow night against Evansville. The softball team earned a number 4 seed in the WIA playoffs and will host number 5 Bigfoot on Tuesday, May 21st in the first round of the playoffs. Girls soccer, the Lodi girls soccer team is currently 5-4-2 with a conference record of 1-2-1. After a mid-season skid, the team bounced back with a dominant 8-0 win over Richland Center this past Friday night. The team will host Columbus tomorrow night and Evansville on Thursday. Track and field. Earlier this May, the boys and girls track team took home first place in both the boys and girls division of the Edgerton Tider Invitational for the first time in program history. Woo! This past weekend, the team was one of 70 schools that participated in the Miriam Invitational at Arrowhead High School. Top 10 finishers included Zach Nyquist, 300-meter hurdles, 5th, Isaiah Grosskopf, shot put 10th, and Gavin Sargent, long jump 2nd. And these I wasn't sure how to pronounce. Izzy Bahe? Bahe? Okay. Shot put 9th, Izzy Bahe discus 3rd, Olivia Hayroth high jump 5th. The team will travel to Lake Mills tomorrow for the Capital Conference meet. Golf, on April 22nd, the golf team hosted a Capital Conference mini-meet at the Lodi Golf Course. The team finished second, just 2 strokes behind first place Cambridge, and 12 strokes ahead of the 3rd place team. This past weekend, the golf team traveled to Columbus for the Columbus Invitational, placing 4th place as a team. The golf team will travel to the Legend of Bergamot tomorrow for the Capital Conference meet. Lacrosse, the lacrosse co-op is currently 4-10 with a conference record of 2-6. Tomorrow night they will host conference opponent Wanakee at Sauk Prairie High School. The team will host Brookfield Central, Brookfield East in the first round of the WIA playoffs on Friday, May 24th.
Wow,
Wow, thank you. There's a lot going on.
that new track must be really good to practice on.
Yeah.
It was nice to walk on
I did stride with pride
Yeah, I
last
did
week.
too.
Were you there?
in the morning earlier,
Okay.
and I petted
It's
puppies.
fun, yeah.
OSC?
Oh, yeah, the puppies, yeah.
Puppies.
that was-
Have you been able to go to OSC meeting yet?
No, I'm sorry, OSC, the meeting is Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I was
so,
wondering.
but, I don't know, is there from last time, Adam, or no? Okay.
Okay. All right, now our board committee reports. I was trying to jump ahead before sorry. Personnel.
We discussed the insurance stuff.
Oh, yes, yes, we did. And the curriculum has not met yet. And facility and finance.
Couple more things that we did not have tonight. So PRA facility assessment, is that available anywhere for board members to see?
Sorry, say that again.
The PRA facility assessment?
We haven't shared it with them, though.
Okay,
We
so
haven't.
eventually it'll be shared, just not yet. So PRA assessed a large portion of the high school and how to make it better. CTE, the PAC, the wrestling, the pool, the locker rooms, and art also got into there too, and the front part of it got upgraded into a gallery space. And then possibilities of expansion or not expand, and it's massive, and that's why I was hoping board members would be able to access that.
And this is because we're gonna move ahead with the roof, with this referendum, and we wanted the roof to match anything that could go on underneath it.
Well, yes, maybe, that would be great, but this is much bigger than that, so it's become
Okay.
bigger than that. So it's an extensive, itemized vision of each of those spaces and what could happen in those spaces.
Okay.
So we're gonna need to put together a process where
Yes.
we gather community input regarding all of our facilities and green space over the next year or so.
Yeah.
To come up with a recommendation of moving forward, what the community, have that group make a recommendation to the board. So I just need to figure out how that process is gonna look and bring that back to the committee and the board and walk through that.
But it is a vision, and so that's why board members should see that vision. And then another thing we discussed was the green space, and so seeing the Highway 60 field out here with keeping the diamond that's over here on the left and making it into a full-size diamond, so keeping the dugouts and the backstop as is, and then not changing the field, the softball field that's over here. And so that was presented as a plan.
So that still leaves the practice and Dane, or the?
That leaves a game in Dane, right? So,
It leaves a-
so, yeah, that brings, depends if you make this your varsity field, right? If you make this your varsity field,
It's in choice.
it then will have to become a varsity achieve.
It's not the varsity field because of the quality of the field,
Right.
the upgrades. Did your green space plan have additional besides the softball and baseball? Did it have a football, soccer field on it?
There's a soccer practice.
There was
Yeah.
multiple ones
Yeah.
presented, right?
Back
When
in
are we
that
gonna see
corner.
that?
Again, is that in the thing that the?
Yeah.
It's in the facility and finance
Agenda.
Okay.
agenda, you can look
You
at
can see
it
it.
there.
You can look at it.
Should be in there.
And those are the only two things that we did not discuss, of all the other stuff we discussed.
Okay, thank you. And policy?
Well, we did it.
Yes.
We approved
so
our.
happy.
Yes, I know. And we will have, updates to Neola stuff that's coming, or updates that Neola will give us. And then there's a bunch of stuff coming with, Title 19.
I don't know.
Title 9, sorry.
Yeah, so.
I'm really tired. I'm
So
sorry.
policy is not meeting, will not be meeting this month. We don't have a
No, I
ton to
don't
meet on, so we don't need to meet. Policy will be meeting over the summer because Title IX, the new Title IX regs have been dropped. Neola and every other organization is working to redo the Title IX rules and policies and corresponding policies, and they have to be in place by August 1st.
I guess
So
we
this
will be
happened,
meeting.
this happened with the last administration, they dropped them, and then we had to have them done in a hurry, like, didn't give us enough time, and then now this administration did the exact same thing. We probably won't get them till June 15th at the earliest.
So we'll be screened.
So we will have a policy meeting towards the end of July, or end of June, and then we'll see what we have to do in July.
Yeah, do you have any clue how many policies this could affect?
Quite a few.
Yeah,
But
I figured it touches a lot.
All right, well, thank you, guys. All right, so our next regular school board meeting is Monday, June 10th at 5:30 with closed session, and 6:30 will be open session. Our curriculum committee meeting will be this week, Wednesday, May 15th at 4:30 PM. Our policy committee will be announced as a later date.
so
I think our
can I jump-
curriculum is at 5:30.
Can I jump into those?
Yeah.
So, we had a conversation amongst this group about committee meetings, so, what I would suggest is that we do the first Wednesday of the month as a personnel and policy committee. It used to be facility and finance, but we'll move facility and finance later, but do personnel and policy on the first Wednesday of the month. We won't have a personnel committee in July. We typically don't have any committee meetings in July. We might have to have a policy meeting because of these Title IX regulations. And then I would suggest that for the month of June, we have the fourth Wednesday of the month, we have our curriculum and facility and finance meeting.
Yeah, I won't be around the first week in June for a policy committee meeting.
Okay, so you're suggesting
So I-
personnel and policy
And I
will be
can
the
send
first
this out
Wednesday.
to everybody.
Okay,
Because in talking to Scott's on both personnel and policy, so
He has to do
talking
the
about
same
that, we were looking at doing the first Wednesday of the month.
okay.
And then we would do facility and finance and curriculum on probably the third Wednesday of the month, but I'm not here the third Wednesday of the month in June, so we'll probably push them to the fourth Wednesday.
Okay.
And same with July, we'll probably do the fourth Wednesday, and then at some
But
point.
then after that, it'll be third, most
Third
likely.
Wednesday, but then we're gonna have to talk with the Facility and Finance Committee because Teresa will start teaching class at some point, so we'll have to move that off of Wednesday. Right, so we can, but that can be done with that committee.
Okay.
The curriculum is scheduled for 4:30 on this Wednesday, right?
Well, I thought I saw somewhere that was written at 5:30.
Oh, I wrote 4:30.
Okay, I'm fine at 4:30, I just thought I saw something written at 5:30.
I can check the agenda.
That's Thursday.
So, that's this Thursday,
Thursday's
That's
at
the
5:30.
expulsion.
that's the
4:30.
expulsion, and the expulsion.
Thursday's the special meeting, yes.
Special meeting.
And that one is at 6. That,
That's
I
at
know I
6.
saw that.
And that changed
It's
to
5:30
6.
on there.
She sent out a.
We moved it to
text
6.
message.
Okay. Yeah, I
Just
got that
moved
It
text
was
message.
updated.
Okay.
So, my son has his pre-surgical appointment on Wednesday at 2:40 at the UW. I'm planning on being here by 4:30, it might be a few minutes late,
So
but I
this
will be
Wednesday
here.
you're talking about?
This Wednesday,
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
for curriculum,
we
you'll
can
be
do it.
here.
We can
Okay.
do it.
Okay, yeah.
Are we meeting, do we meet here in
Yep.
the same
Right
place?
here.
Yep.
Okay, so
Here, B square.
curriculum is meeting Wednesday at 4:30 this week.
Yes.
And then, so nothing else for the month of May
And then-
for committee meetings,
Right.
correct?
We're done with May.
Okay. And
And
then we're
we'll do
thinking.
the first week of June, we'll have,
Thanks, Fran.
personnel and policy.
So if I'm not gonna be here that day for that policy, is that gonna matter?
Well, you have two other board
Why
members.
don't you?
We do,
move-
and that's fine. I mean, we
Why don't you
do.
move it to when Terry can be here and I
I mean,
may
I don't-
not make it? It's more important for her to.
Well, and to be
No,
honest
no,
with
no,
you,
no.
like
You're
even.
the
Jim-
chairperson.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm the chairperson of personnel. Did you, I'm not policy.
Your policy.
I was, I didn't know I still was, that's
Yeah,
fine.
you are.
Okay, that's fine.
So we can look, and again, to be honest with you, I don't know if we need to meet in June for policy.
Well-
I would schedule them for the first part of the month, because again, we won't have Title IX stuff, so.
Okay, that's what I thought. If we don't have it Title IX stuff yet, I don't need to be here for that.
I just need to put some stuff on the calendar, because we
Right.
can't have to be determined, and- because I need to start.
Right.
Yeah.
We need, for all of you, we need to schedule this
Yes.
out months now,
Yeah.
because, so I just need to put,
But
I'm
the-
gonna
I
put
wanna
together a
be here for
calendar.
the Title
And then we
IX
can
stuff.
always change it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we can't, we've done that before, like, we've had a policy meeting where we moved it to Tuesday because people couldn't make.
I'm
So
like,
like
you're
you
the
were
chair, you
suggesting,
should-
if we have.
Yeah, that's
something
right.
else,
You
we
should
should
be
do
there.
this this week, but like July going forward will be the fourth Wednesday.
plus I've
It's
been
just
doing
in
it for a
the
long
next couple
time.
months,
Okay.
because I won't be available the third week in June or the third week in July.
I see, okay.
In curriculum, we could still meet, and typically we don't meet in July anyhow, for curriculum.
Oh, okay.
Most of our committees don't meet in July.
So personnel, we're thinking, we're not gonna meet in June. We're gonna wait till July? Not personnel, I'm sorry. I meant, curriculum. Policy, yes.
Policy, probably.
Gosh.
Let me, I will write it out in the weekly notes and send it
Okay.
out to all of you.
Okay, so to the public,
It is 10 o'clock at night, and we're
Yeah.
not gonna put this down. I will write
Yeah,
some things
thank
down and put it out, and then if we
Curriculum,
need to
4:30
change.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
that's the one you
Thursday,
have-
6
that's the one you
o'clock,
need
the
to know.
special meeting.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this week and Wednesday
I
and
can
special
manage
meeting Thursday.
Those
Yeah,
two.
okay. Okay, and then we'll figure out the rest later.
Yes.
Okay, and we do not need to go back into closed session,
No.
and if anybody would like to,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
all right, motion by Adam, second by Terry.
All right.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 6-0, we are adjourned. I don't have my gavel.